No, that's not him.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Sunday, May 31st, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 726.
This is No Agenda.
Has it been 40 days and 40 nights yet? Building an ark and broadcasting live from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where it's not raining, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Craig Bott and Buzzkill in the morning.
Yeah.
You want to start with a little rundown on the rain? I do have a clip.
Yeah, rundown on the rain. Is it called Rundown on the Rain? Or Texas flood reporting?
That would be it.
More thunderstorms meant even more flooding in central Texas today as the death toll from storms over the last week rose to 27. Torrential downpours dumped as much as 7 inches of rain in the Dallas-Fort Worth area overnight. Drivers were stranded for hours as water covered highways and submerged cars. Rescue crews responded to more than 250 calls for help. For more on this, Hari Srinivasan spoke earlier with Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who recently toured the hard-hit community of Wimberley.
Lieutenant Governor, you've had a chance over the past 24 hours to see some of the devastation on the ground and from the air. Describe it to some folks in the rest of the country who might just be seeing these images for the first time.
You know, Hari, we've been in legislative session for the last 5 months, so yesterday was the first day I was able to get down to the Wimberley area. And the pictures do not describe it. I want to give you this example. I was standing in front of a cliff that was about 40 feet high. That would be equivalent to a 3 to 4 story building. The water is normally 3 foot deep. When that flood water hit those homes, that water was as high as 48 feet. It took out homes on top of 40-foot cliffs. It's unimaginable. Trees down everywhere, down the entire river, trees that had stood for 600 years, hundreds of homes, and most importantly, the loss of life, 12 missing or lost. One body was found 34 miles downstream. If you can imagine, the one home that was taken down, Hari, where we lost 8 people, they are still missing. A few bodies have been recovered. It was on stilts, about 30 feet high, and the water just rushed down like a tsunami. A 48-foot wall of water after dark on Saturday night in an area that has had flooding, but nothing even close to this.
We're all gonna die! Oh, that's
Yeah, it's good. Trivialize the story sitting there.
Yeah, well, I'm here, so I'm allowed to. It's like being black. You can say all kinds of things, you know?
Now I heard it. Well, he goes on and on and on. I just had to cut it there. But he mentions that I forgot what area it was 14 inches of rain in 2 hours.
It's been crazy. Okay, I have a much longer Agenda 21 climate change segment, but from that I will just for this opening I'll play a couple of even stupider clips because of course I've been monitoring everything about my own hometown.
They call it weather whiplash.
What? Need I play more? They call it weather.
Heard that one.
They call it weather whiplash. That's great. Weather whiplash.
They call it weather whiplash. A year of historic floods, fires, tornadoes, snow and ice. Now whipping from one wild extreme to another.
Whipping
in Wichita Falls, Texas, it felt like the drought ended overnight. In just 3 weeks, much of the state has gone from extreme drought to crippling flood. Lakes are fuller than they've been in 5 years. This was Lake Wichita just a few months ago. Here it is again today. Scientists say climate change is exacerbating the wild swings.
These swings are getting wilder. Climate change is stretching out our variability.
Yeah, there you go. Climate change is stretching out.
I thought climate change wasn't weather.
Well, listen to what she says. This is a UT person.
Climate change is stretching out our variability.
Whatever that means.
What? What did she say?
She says
stretching out our variability.
Variability. Because they can't explain it. It doesn't fit with the whole model. So we have to say.
Climate change is stretching out our variability.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Climate change is stretching out our variability.
Well, let's go to the NBC report then. Might as well.
They call it weather.
Oh, I'm sorry. You already did that one.
By the way, I should mention that the NewsHour did not mention climate change at all.
Well, should we just go into it and get it over with? Because I got a number of clips here.
Oh, go on.
Oh, might as well. With the president, with his speech for the Coast Guard, with I know we've just noticed all of this stuff kind of, this is the time once again to be talking about climate change. Well, you can talk about climate. I'm all for climate change. Just, I'm not so sure about the man-made climate change. But the guy who has now been, crowned by the president himself as the rainmaker, so to speak, is Bill Nye, the climate guy. And he is everywhere, and he's got his message, and he's not going to stop. He is not going to stop. So let me play CNN from this morning.
Bill Nye, the science guy, is here, ready to fight the haters. And
fight the haters!
Before we begin, I just want to say 97...
It's important to...
What is he, on a forum or something? What is he, online?
I am going to take this somewhere. Because this is something that you and I identified early on, and we've predicted it's going to happen, is moving in that direction. So
I will say this. Yes. You are now the official, your beat is Bill Nye. I've never seen him. That's the funny thing about this. You run into him all the time, and I haven't run into him for months.
He has a very interesting message. A part of his message is... I'm sorry?
Am I getting minimum?
Minimum?
Yeah, that's his message.
Oh, am I getting scale?
Yeah. Scale, yeah, am I getting scale?
Okay, so he has a message, and he has a parallel, an analogy that he's trying to ram into your heads and make that comparable to man-made climate change. But another part of the message, which is, it's kind of laughed off and subtle, but it's come back in this other C-SPAN thing I watched, is the haters. And how...
haters gotta hate.
That's right. Haters are hating on the messenger.
Bill Nye, the science guy, is here, ready to fight the haters. And before we begin, I just want to say 97% of scientists say climate change is real.
Great.
And much of it is driven by man. So,
can we stop with the man thing? People. I say people. Why not whoa, man? Men and women.
Oh, let's go on. You tweet about climate change after extreme weather events all the time, and each time it makes climate change deniers freak out.
Freak out!
Is this your strategy?
Well, I just want to remind voters that suppose you had...
Now, notice immediately his mission is to politicize it. Which is there's politics and there's the real science. Here's the science guy. The first words out of his mouth are about politics.
Suppose you had somebody running for congressional office in your district who insisted that there's no connection between cigarette smoking and cancer. Would you vote for that person? I mean, you might, but if this person were adamant, no, the scientists who studied cigarette smoking and cancer, they don't know if they were adamant, would you vote for them? And so in the same way, the connection between climate change and human activity is at least as strong as cigarettes and cancer.
It's hard to argue that.
No, it's not.
Of course it's not.
What's he talking about?
Well, this is his message, and we're going to hear a longer piece now. Again, the same format with the science. Well, I don't think it's science, but the climate change deniers. They're going berserk about trying to shoot the messenger. And Bill Nye now on MSNBC with who's the guy with the big head? Ed with a big head.
Parts of central Texas are getting hit with another round of heavy rain. Floodwaters and submerging highways are threatening more homes. At least 21 people have been killed and 14 are missing in the state. Earlier this week, Bill Nye, the science guy, sent out this tweet.
Can you just think about what's being said here?
Yes, I think there is something so ludicrous about a cartoon character as the spokesman. Yeah. And he's not Bill Nye, expert in blah, blah. No, it's Bill Nye, the science guy.
Send out a tweet. This whole report is fantastic. It really. So the cartoon guy sent out a tweet. He will qualify his credentials in this piece.
With another round of heavy rain, floodwaters and submerging highways are threatening more homes. At least 21 people have been killed and 14 are missing.
Now listen to his tweet. What his tweet actually said.
In the state. Earlier this week, Bill Nye, the science guy, sent out this tweet. Billions in damage in Texas and Oklahoma. Still no weathercaster may utter the phrase climate change. Many conservative climate change deniers went berserk over his post.
Berserk. Just crazy. Insane. They were shooting up entire malls.
Documented denier, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas.
That's a good one, by the way. Documented denier. I want that on my business card. Documented denier.
Has not commented on the storm's link to climate change. However, the Republican presidential hopeful did send his support to the families in Texas. What's important here is Bill Nye never suggested the flooding was caused by global warming.
Now, let's stop there for a second.
Can I stop you, the whole report right now?
Yeah, of course.
Because I want clarification. I've got Bill Nye's Twitter thing up.
Yeah.
The guy very rarely, he tweets like every couple of days. He's not a Twitter guy. Somebody else probably put this up for him.
He's more an Instagram dude.
Billions in damage in Texas and Oklahoma, still no weather cat. Now, at the very beginning of this report that you're putting together, you played what sounded to me like a local weathercaster.
Yes.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, about the weather whiplash? Yeah.
And she went on and on about climate change.
Yeah.
Well, then how does this make any sense? Billions in damage, and still no weathercaster may utter the phrase climate change. I believe she said it twice, at least, maybe 3 times.
More interesting.
So this is a lie. Well, this comment from him and this comment from Schwartz is just a lie.
Ed with the big head is now, it's even funnier, will now say that his tweet didn't even claim weather was caused by climate change. When you read that tweet, what does it mean to you? Read it again.
Billions in damage in Texas and Oklahoma. Still no weathercaster may utter the phrase climate change. What it says to me, by implication and by construction, and obviously what it really meant was climate change is responsible for this damage.
Global warming. He simply pointed out climate change, which
Hold on, I'm going to roll it back a little further. You can hear Ed say it perfectly.
Presidential hopeful did send his support to the families in Texas. What's important here is Bill Nye never suggested the flooding was caused by global warming. He simply pointed out climate change, which experts say is exacerbating weather extreme events like this, should be part of the conversation.
Is that how you interpret the tweet?
No.
Bill Nye joins us tonight here on the Ed Show.
Hey,
Bill, good to have you with us.
And he has this shit-eating grin on his face. He's totally horny for himself. I know how. I've seen this happen to people.
Well, let me read you another tweet from his most recent tweet. Bill Nye on Twitter. Bonding over Jay-Z with my new friend Jay Farrow tonight.
He's off the rails. He's off the they're going to find him with Richard Quest with their nuts bound together with dildos in their boots and meth in their pockets in Washington Square Park. I'm telling you, the guy, he's off the rails. Someone's going to get a hold of him, and it won't end well for him.
Appreciate your time. What do you say? What would you like to say to all of those conservatives who have blasted you for your tweet and your analysis on this?
Well, as I say, shooting the messenger isn't going to help you on climate change. Here's what, though. Would you vote for someone? I want conservatives.
Again, going straight to politics, because he's here not as a scientist. He's here as a political operative.
And Ed, we need conservatives. We can't have just one side running the show. You got to have give and take.
And clear division, completely clear division. Everything on that side is crazy denier.
But just ask yourself, if you're a conservative voter, if somebody like Mr. Cruz insisted that there was no connection at all between cigarette smoking and cancer.
And there he is again.
And was just adamant about it, would you vote for that person? Would you think that he or she has good judgment? And I submit you probably wouldn't. And so the connection between climate change and human activity is established at least as well as cancer and cigarettes. So let's get on with it.
They are out attacking you because of a weather event that is really in parallel with the science and other events that have taken human life in America, weather extremes.
This could be the future.
This could be the future. Oh, yes.
This could be something
like all those hurricanes.
Oh, that's coming. It's coming. It's coming up, because now you're going to hear how the science guy kind of falls apart. It's on its way. It
happens every year, or every other year, every 5 years. If you're in the seawall business, this is going to be great for a few decades. So this would be time to act. And the other thing, Ed, I talk about all the time. It's very important to me.
Very important.
I was born in the U.S.
Listen, he's a patriot now. We need the patriotic music. Oh, I'm saluting you, Bill Nye.
I got my engineering degree in the U.S. I have a engineering license in the U.S. I took a lot of physics in the U.S.
Hey, man, I took a lot of physics. So I know what I'm talking in the U.S. I know what I'm talking about, right?
I want the U.S. to lead. I want the United States to be the world leader in the things that we need to do to address climate change.
Yes. Now, let's get to the hurricanes.
And people criticize me for this.
Yeah.
Okay, the climate's still changing. As we say, science is true, whether you believe it or not.
Here we go.
Now, Monday is the start of the 2015 hurricane season.
Well, officially.
Do you expect this to...
He's already being very careful. Well, officially.
Hurricanes don't read calendars, okay?
Go ahead.
It is
the beginning of the season. Okay. So, on the calendar, it's there. Do you expect this to be an exceptionally rough one?
Oh, John, what could the answer be?
Well, from years past, it would have to be one of the worst in history.
And so far, that hasn't really panned out. But they're so good at predicting everything. The weather extremes. But when it comes to the hurricanes,
did anyone predict that this was going to happen to Texas?
That's a very good question. We should sue them.
Well, this year. It's very hard to predict. That's what we say all the time. You can't. It's very difficult to connect any one weather event to this global phenomenon.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on.
Of climate change. With that said, we expect hurricanes to be stronger. Now, there's another phenomenon where the hurricanes get decapitated.
I've been waiting for the explanation why we haven't had the big hurricane season, John.
Here we go.
It's the decapitation. It's ISIS beheading the hurricanes.
We expect hurricanes to be stronger. Now, there's another phenomenon where the hurricanes get decapitated, essentially, off the east coast of Africa, off the west coast of Africa, and so they don't get as strong. And these things are very difficult to predict. However, an El Nino seems to be developing, so you'd expect strong hurricanes. But either way, it's the chances of rough weather are much higher than not. 2014 was the warmest year on record. It's not a coincidence. It's human activity. 97% of the scientists in the world are on this.
Go back to the talking points.
So the people on the other side are really not. They're closing their eyes to a situation they do not wish to acknowledge.
We're all gonna die!
Okay, so he can't predict it, and he's not going to make any predictions because he knows that he has no clue. Now, this all leads to something that we have identified before.
Well,
I'm sorry?
Okay, I just have one more thing.
Sure.
Just as an interlude here.
Sure.
I've got his Twitter feed up still. I just want to read a tweet.
Yeah, okay, good.
He tweeted on May 16th, and a couple of days went by, and he throws in another tweet out of the blue, and this is the tweet. All the cool kids are following at POTUS. He's trying to change the world with tweets. Really, how cool is that?
Douchebag. He should have thrown in a...
Amen, fist bump.
Yeah, hey, Bill, amen, fist bump. So this leads to... We've already heard this. So it went from global warming, man-made global warming, to man-made climate change, to climate denial, and now science denial. And this is this is being picked up, in a big way, because it truly is a war on religion. Now, the Constitution is very clear about you believing in it. You want to believe in Pastafarians, you want to be Catholic, you want to be Jewish, you want to be Muslim, whatever it is. That's your right. And it's kind of mind-boggling to me, and you're going to hear some of this, real attacks on Christianity and all different versions of it, of whatever is being called a certain version of it. And on the other hand, just don't piss off the Muslims, when they, don't draw cartoons. So it's my brain almost can't handle the inconsistency of it, and I found it took place on April 8th, but it aired last night on C-SPAN as I was flipping through, and it was at the University of Colorado, a panel on science denial, not climate denial, science denial, and I pulled a number of clips from it, and pretty much no one. Well, there was one climate scientist on the panel, and see the first one. This is Blumenthal. He works at the University of Colorado, And he's moderating the panel. He's a molecular scientist, so not a climate scientist. And here's his short little intro to this panel.
All right, let's get started. First of all, may I remind you to please turn off the sound on your cell phones.
I just put this in for effect so you can hear what kind of...
Please turn it off.
If you haven't done that already.
Vocal fry.
I like him.
This is Wednesday, April 8th at 10:30, panel number 3263, Anti-Science, Denial in the Face of Facts.
Oh, you stepped on the entire title. Don't step on the Don't step on the title.
Denial.
Don't step on him. There's going to be a lot of fun things here.
Denial in the face of facts. I asked for a science panel. I got an anti-science panel.
Okay. So, and I had to do so much editing just to get anything usable, even though you almost want to listen. You want to watch this whole thing. The audience questions and answers. It's really fascinating how anti-religion these people are.
I want you all to try to imagine a world where established scientific facts were accepted because they were established scientific facts, where nobody was deliberately seeking to undermine the public's acceptance of these facts just because they stood to gain financially, or by raising doubts about the facts because they seemed at odds with their religious beliefs. Huge numbers of Americans simply don't believe facts. People believing in the truth matters a lot, not because it affects the truth, but because whether or not we act based on truth or fiction matters a lot. This isn't a scientific issue, it's a political one.
Yes, well, that's very obvious, and it's becoming a religious one, which ties in closely to politics, certainly in the United States.
Yeah.
Now, next on the panel, Michelle Thaler. She is from NASA's Goddard Institute. Very interesting woman, this. And she does a lot of, she's kind of I think she feels like she may be a female Neil deGrasse Tyson in a way. She's a good speaker. She does stuff with Discovery Channel, I think. She's an expert, is asked on all the time. She's kind of cute. A lot of hair, which she's constantly brushing back. Some kind of signal. But she's one of these people who has short arms that are too short for her body. You know this club?
A lot of the too short for the body. I don't know how women get that way, but most of the guys, you'll see a bunch of like these stocky guys, and they got these really short little arms. It's because they exercised it with heavy weights too early in their growth when they were like preteens.
I thought it was.
It screws up your. It keeps your arms from growing to the normal length.
I thought it was just a club, like a breed, a clan.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But I just pulled. So everyone did a little bit of intro, and here's her intro.
Well, good morning. It's one of the gaps in my training as a scientist.
I already want to kick you. I can't help it, just the way you're talking.
That I'm finding myself in this sort of social situation as a science communicator.
Science communicator and documented denier.
Where I'm dealing with this odd cadence of people insisting that something that is false is true, and something that is true is false.
That would be us, John. He's talking directly to you and I.
This is actually going on in my life right now at this moment. But the idea that
as we speak,
that the false is true. That, for example, NASA could be hiding something from you. I want the month of my life back that 2012 apocalypse was, because I was getting calls from people who were frightened. And they were afraid the world really was coming to an end.
Now, this is important what she's doing. Remember, this is about science denial, go straight into religion, and, of course, the 2012 Armageddon. She's highlighting a small fringe of dudes walking around with signs, we
also ridiculed them just as well as we ridicule her.
Of course.
And then there would be some people that would say, okay, I bet the world isn't coming to an end, but where can I go to see this wonderful astronomical conjunction happen? And the difficult thing to tell them was that there was nothing astronomically interesting happening on that date. This thing was whole cloth made up.
Now, whole cloth made up. Is that a religious reference, whole cloth?
Whole cloth.
Or is that, what is that? Where does that come from?
I've only heard that in the world of writing and journalism, personally, where you say whole cloth refers to you print the whole thing.
I just wonder where the cloth part comes from.
Whole cloth. I don't know.
Here I have New York Times.
Maybe somebody in the chat room could help.
Out of the whole cloth. Here it is. someone's going to have to look that up for us. Let's continue.
And, people often ask me, are you allowed to say this as a NASA scientist? And the answer is absolutely yes, because these are the facts. So,
facts. She has the facts.
The idea, the attack on what a scientist is.
Remember, now you're hearing something. So we had Bill Nye, the haters. You see the pattern forming here? Bill Nye, the haters, getting all over him, trying to shoot the messenger. Now we're attacking scientists. And you're going to find out we're attacking science because they're crazy religious nut jobs.
Are we not allowed to be human?
No.
Am I not allowed to go on television, which I have done, and say I'm scared?
And I've done it very well.
It's not that,
give me this woman's name again. Do you have it?
Michelle Thaler, Thaller.
I'm going to tell you what to do, but I can tell you my emotional response. And it's become very apparent to NASA scientists that just delivering more and more data about, we've got the acidification of the oceans. I can show you that the isotopic ratio of the carbon dioxide proves it's human activity that's doing this. I can tell you it's not the sun, because we've been studying the sun very closely for 30 years.
Wow, for 30 whole years, have you?
So all of these...
30 years? What?
Yeah. It's not the sun. Warming is not from the sun. Why don't you remove...
No, warming's not from... There's no chance of that. And the whole 30 years proves it.
Why don't you remove sun from the equation, see how warm you are?
For 30 years. So all of these data are not helping in the debate.
No.
And so instead, we're trying to draw back into our skills as storytellers.
Okay, now this is very important. Now, she is a science communicator, and she's...
Yes, by the way, that is code in that world for PR girl.
Yeah. Yes. PR, and the PR girl says that the data is no longer working. People don't believe the data, so now they have to resort to what scientists do best, which apparently is storytelling. What happened to the facts?
The debate. And so instead, we're trying to draw back into our skills as storytellers and as people and as emotional human beings.
Nailed it.
Trying to tell this story.
Okay.
Story.
Okay. Now we
implies fiction.
Now we move over to the one climate. Well, he's a geoscience professor from Penn State. He is Richard Alley.
Stop again. I hate to keep interrupting.
No, it's okay.
The questions keep coming to mind. The guy with the little voice that started at the beginning.
He's coming. Yeah.
Didn't he say that everybody on the panel was a bunch of attackers, science deniers?
No, that's not what he said. No, he wanted
to imply that.
No, he said his implication was, I wanted a science panel, but I got a panel about anti-science. So he wanted a topic to be about science. He got a topic that is about people who are anti-science.
Okay. I get it.
These science communicators are very much all on board.
Yeah. Okay.
So here,
I'm sorry for the interruption.
So no, please feel free. That always makes the program better.
No.
I'm a climate scientist, so I'm one of the people who have gotten the occasional email that says you're an evil liar. I am trying to get you fired. I hate you. I'm going to watch you. I know where you are. I've also waded into the evolution issues, and I have editorialized on that. And the people who do not want to see evolution taught tend to be much nicer to me.
It sounds like he's trying to pinch a loaf.
By the way, I got to drop in this little gem on this woman.
Okay.
She's one of these. It talks about her being married. During her years in Pasadena, she was a regular participant in the summer Santa Barbara Renaissance Fair.
That's the thing that I keep getting invited to.
She is, you've ever been to one?
Of course not.
Oh,
no.
You're crazy not to go.
No, first of all, it's not like free. You have to pay for everything. They're not invited. They're not sending a plane ticket.
But if you've been to one, if somebody would actually have that on their wiki page, that means that she dresses up. She's cosplay. Let's use a modern term.
Explain cosplay.
Cosplay is this thing that's become, I don't know when it began. I just tracked it maybe starting about a year and a half ago. Yeah. Cosplay is very popular amongst certain groups of millennials. And it is dressing up into really elaborate costumes, costume play, and going to events where other cosplayers are there. Comic-Con has become a cosplay mecca.
To the extreme, yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about because the invitation is always very high grade, really beautiful, almost like a wedding invitation. And I think it's women wear hats and men, and white gloves. Is that kind of the cosplay we're talking about here?
No, okay, not even close.
That's the impression I always got. She looks like she could be wearing
the Renaissance Fair. For example, if you're a cosplayer and you go there and you would brag about this, I mean, she does this. She does what I'm about to describe.
Yeah, but this is not a Renaissance. I think.
Sorry?
I don't believe we're talking about the same thing. I think this Renaissance Santa Barbara thing is not a Renaissance fair. It's a group of left-wing people who come together and try to solve all the problems of the world. That's what I've been invited for. I'm talking about something else.
No way, because that's the Renaissance Fair with an E on the end is a trademark.
This is even crazier. So she goes to Renaissance fairs as a wench?
Exactly.
Ah, nice.
You wear the outfits from the era as best you can if you're really good. And a lot of steampunk stuff comes from this. People will be all dressed up in these wild outfits that cost a lot of money. And the heavy makeup and hair and all the whole thing.
Oh, my God, John. You have to search for Michelle Fowler Renaissance to see her costumes.
Now, I would say... And you have to top. I'm going to finish the discussion before I do that.
Yeah, okay.
As you top it off by speaking in a phony, baloney, old-fashioned, what would be perceived as an early British voice.
Doe protesters,
mighty. and you just sound. You roam around and you go into that role and you hold it for the entire event.
Outstanding.
So that's what we're dealing with here. This is a scientist. Ooh, we should pay very careful attention to her.
Well, this guy as well, because of his voice mainly, but just what he says. He's cracking out the anti-religion right off the bat.
The people who do not want to see evolution taught tend to be much nicer to me than the people who do not want to see climate change taught.
You religious people are crazy.
Right? And so in some very real sense, we can go into our media bubble, we can go into our cultural bubble, and we can stay there. And in some very real sense, these media bubbles are scrubbing reality.
They're scrubbing reality. And they all have this idea that somehow there's so much money flowing into climate change denialism, which is ludicrous. Look at the numbers.
The numbers are off the chart on the other side.
Yes, $22 billion from the government alone into research for this.
Yeah, there's no end.
Insane.
This is bull crap.
Insane. But these are. This
sounds good though. Oh, those evil oil companies.
Okay, now is a somewhat longer clip, and I cut out all kinds of stuff. Every single time I think, oh, this is enough, the guy goes on again. This is, you may know him, Chip Burlett. He's a writer. And I believe he has also worked at a think tank for many years, which sole purpose is to figure out ways to first discover why Republicans are crazy, and then figure out ways to make them uncrazy. And he's written a book about, the crazy right in America. That's not the title. And he starts off his introduction with this.
Haiku for climate change. Reality bites. As sea levels keep rising, water nips our feet.
That's not a haiku. No? I'll tell you why it's not a haiku. People should look this up and look into haikus. It's more than just a number of words all put together. There has to be the last line has to be kind of dissociated. That particular line isn't. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I need to listen to it again.
Haiku based on that sort of thesis, but that's even Haiku Herman does a better job.
Hello. Haiku police here. Haiku police. Your haiku is illegal.
Checking in.
Malformed haiku.
Illegal haiku.
Haiku bogadivity.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you once more. I'm looking at one of the Michelle Fowler pictures.
I know.
Of her in. She's wearing, I would say, a $1,000 not Elizabethan, but Victorian outfit.
With the collar, with the ruffled collar,
which it must cost a fortune. That crazy collar that you see in the old pictures of Elizabeth I. Mm-hmm. Yeah, horrible.
Off with their heads. I'm sure she's saying, "Off with their heads."
Yeah,
I say, "Off with their heads." Are you in denial? Off with your head. All right, now this guy is clearly a driver of the story. This Mr. Haiku guy. Let's play the haiku one more time. Just I need the irritation.
Haiku for climate change.
That's pretty much all I need to hear just before I go to bed. Haiku for climate change.
reality bites. As sea levels keep rising, water nips our feet.
And I cut out all the smirking and laughing. Now, okay, we're just going to play it, and we will have to stop from time to time. And this is the final clip in this series. But again, I encourage everyone to see this, because to go to science denial based purely on a opposing view of man-made climate change, which I still think we should stay with global warming, but now it's really an addition of all this stuff. And to make this so political by saying it's religious people, they're crazy, and they're all Republicans.
If you have authority figures, there has to be a mass base that listens to the authority figures.
No, I think the guy's gay.
And I'm going to argue that the mass base has been groomed since the late 1800s to reject science, to reject what they call collectivism, and reject big government, all of which is evidence of...
Yeah.
Connect those three.
Wait for it. You want to... Let's just listen. And when you're ready, jump in when you're ready.
That climate scientists are all agents of Satan.
What?
Yeah, the climate scientists are all agents of Satan. Remember, this has gone from the haters with Bill Nye. Oh, hold on a second.
To Satanism?
No, these climate scientists are all agents of Satan, according to crazy religious people who are Republicans.
Collectivism and reject big government, all of which is evidence of that climate scientists are all agents of Satan.
A lot of
laughing. Okay. You can get over it.
Yeah, we'll get over it.
So it all starts with evolution, the big lie of science.
Could you be more polarizing, please?
And the Catholic Church and most mainstream Protestant denominations reach an accommodation with science simply by saying, it wasn't God clever. And one of the fundamentals is that science is a lie.
Is this true?
No.
I don't think so either.
Not in any religion I've ever studied or been part of.
I've never seen this. I've never been taught this. And you know what? I'm sorry.
This is a classic example of somebody that's so out of the mainstream that, and I guess they just talk amongst themselves and make shit up.
Well, he really tries to go into the history of it all.
Because if you believe the science of evolution, you are rejecting God. Now, if you're...
So now we're back to that fundamental...
That's not true either. There's nobody would agree with that.
Except
this guy, let me put it as simply as I can. This guy is an out, and I would say the whole group, this guy is an out and out bigot. He's the worst kind of person in the world.
Yes.
He shouldn't even be on C-SPAN.
Why is C-SPAN even airing this? Why is it at the University of Colorado? And please, let's throw in, some conspiracy theorists. Let's just bundle it all together. Conspiracy theorists, crazy religious nut jobs, Republicans, all of them are going to kill us. They are going to kill us.
We're all going to die.
You're a Bible-believing literalist, and God is a very centered part of your life. This is not something you just brush aside. It becomes ingrained in your worldview through the doctrine of your religious ideology or theology. Okay, let's go through a little roots of this. So how does this involve then corporations today who are funding science deniers to go on TV and say things?
What? This is so...
Who's doing this? Cite something, you asshole.
Oh, well, you know who's doing it.
Koch brothers!
Apparently. I'd like my payment. Where's my check, Koch?
So in the 1800s, it's evolution. In the late 1890s, it's labor.
The Koch brothers don't even support our show.
So listen, now he's going to bring in, this is really genius what this guy does. And John, they all truly believe what they're saying. Even though if you read the IPCC report, it's really only 97% of scientists who wrote an opinion about it at all. And then if you read the report, it's pretty darn likely. Gee, I think it's extremely likely. And it's predictions based on computer models. So the facts are not panning out.
And say things. So in the 1800s, it's evolution. In the late 1890s, it's labor unions. In the 1920s, it's Bolsheviks and anarchists, which give us the Pomerades and Sacco and Vanzetti. 35 to 45, Roosevelt, and a massive corporate funding of anti-big government, anti-labor union, anti-collectivist organizing around the country. One of the most massive propaganda campaigns ever launched in the United States. In the 1950s, we have the Red Scare against godless communism.
You hear where he's going with this? So if you want to be a lover of the earth and a lover of people...
He's sure way off on the Franklin Roosevelt analysis. He's just throwing together this guy is horrible.
Yeah, that's why we need to listen to more of him. It's the no pain, no gain, John.
Let's not forget godless communism. And in the 1970s, we have the Christian right, which a number of scholars of religion points out. When you have the collapse of the Soviet Union, what happens is that the scary threat becomes internal. There are internal subversives, just like in the Red Scare. And the internal subversives
now... The collapse of communism didn't take place in the 70s.
Yeah, he's jumping around. He's jumping back and forth. But let's just get a little closer to how crazy these people are. People like you and I who clearly are religious nut jobs and we just...
When's the last time you went to church?
I'm going to go soon. Yeah. Why not? We're talking about it now.
One thing I'm going to straighten something out. The Renaissance Fair is not a church. So.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thanks for clearing that up.
Are people who want...
What?
You should go to that.
I'm not going to go to the Renaissance. No. Austin is full of churches. But it's beyond the point. We have a large segment of our listeners go to church. There's all kinds of denominations, but this is it's despicable.
Yeah, they should find this very offensive.
Yes, it's extremely offensive. But this is a movement that is real. It's real. It's real to make science religion. That's where this is going. But first, we have to discredit all others.
Now are people who want you to embrace this false claim of science and reject your biblical understanding of God, and they have taken positions of high office, both in the political scene and in religion.
They're all over the place, John. You never know when they're going to strike you next.
You mean, he also said, so some of these religious people are actually taking a high office in religion?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So religious people are running some of the religion?
And remember, this pope is very, very important. This is why I chose him.
Which happens to tie into one of the most significant aspects of evangelical and fundamentalist Christianity in the United States that is distinct from in Europe, which is the idea that we are living in the end times, the apocalyptic end times.
Here we go. We're back to 2012. First, the Goddard girl says, there's kind of nut jobs who were calling me up. But now, apparently, if you're really into religion and really believe in God and Jesus died for your sins, then we're in the end times, baby. It's all over. And he has a great philosophy about this.
During which time trusted political and religious leaders will lie to you. And so that puts scientists is kind of...
Well, because we're in the end times, the end of days, trusted political leaders...
And religious leaders.
Did he say that? You might have.
Yep.
Will lie to you.
Leaders will lie.
Let me just back it up a little more, make sure that's what he said.
Because we're in the end times, they lie to you.
Yeah.
Times.
What are they lying to us about?
I don't know. Let's listen to what he said. He might explain it.
Apocalyptic end times, during which time trusted political and religious leaders will lie to you. And so that
puts... Where is that written down?
In the book of End Times? But the most trusted religious leader would be the Pope?
I don't know.
Science.
Just stay with it. I want to get through this.
Yeah.
And religious leaders will lie to you. And so that puts scientists as kind of the lackeys of political and religious leaders who are lying to you.
Lackeys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Now, who could possibly believe this? Well, somewhere, first of all...
Who could possibly be this crazy?
Apocalyptic belief in the United States, roughly 75 to 80% of the United States, depending on how you do the polling, is Christian or...
just use the IPCC math. You'll get the answer you want. Don't worry.
At least They claim they go to church on Sunday. Actually, a lot of them are lying too. But let's not go there. Social scientists have gotten over that.
There.
You know, how often do you go to church? Every week. No, how often do you really go to church? So you have to actually ask leading questions that get them to admit that it's really about one
topic.
No, but this is funny. This is important. Because what he's now
just going off the rails. He all of a sudden he thinks he's funny. That was a shtick. He thought was hilarious.
But it's important to listen to this. This is going on, not just here, John. This is going on. This is very important. And people are he's saying, oh, the religious crazies, they don't even go to church. They're lying. That's what he's saying. This is outstanding.
No, how often do you really go to church? So you have to actually ask leading questions that get them to admit that it's really about once a month, and maybe it's only Christmas and Easter.
So just so you know, the people who are crazy religious, they don't even go to church. This guy is a dick.
Now, I'm a Christian, so I get...
I'm sorry, and he's a Christian.
to tell these jokes, okay, so don't get mad at me. I'm just a different kind of Christian. I'm the kind that likes science, and our kind of branch got over that in the 1800s.
Oh, okay. What is the branch that got over it in the 1800s?
I don't know. Maybe he's I could guess where he's depending on where he's from, but it sounds like a Lutheran to me.
Could be.
Oh, Methodist.
Methodist more than. Why are you laughing?
Methodists and Baptists are big, kind of in the South. Uh-huh. There's mostly Methodists and Baptists, and one of them, and the major difference between the Methodists and the Baptists is that the Methodists think strip clubs are okay, and the Baptists think they're not okay.
Well, I'm all
that is the dividing line between Methodists and Baptists in Georgia.
Let me just write this down. Who says strip clubs are okay?
Methodists.
All right, I'm in.
And our kind of branch got over that in the 1800s. So now, what happens then is that this becomes the single largest voting bloc in the Republican Party.
I guess he's claiming that the crazy religious nut jobs are the single biggest voting bloc in the Republican Party. Okay.
Is conservative fundamentalists and evangelicals who reject science because it interferes with their relationship to God. And so it then becomes part of a alliance, which includes at the top corporate profiteers who really want to keep making money because they're going to finish their Chateau Latour before the earth turns into a dustbin.
This is so crazy.
It's a
Chateau Latour.
Yeah, Chateau Latour. In other words, you don't say Chateau
unless you're drinking it. You don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Covered by water, the rest of it. So no big deal.
Wait, but he said they're going to be just drinking their Chateau Latour he fucks up here. While the earth turns into a giant dust bowl with water everywhere.
Corporate profiteers who really want to keep making money because they're going to finish their Chateau Latour before the earth turns into a dustbin, covered by water, the rest of it.
So, what is it, dustbin or water, dude?
No big deal. It's just like taking any industry, stripping it, and living the high life.
Okay, so Republican religious crazy nut jobs are just drinking their Chateau Latour, funding. Stroking their white pussycat, funding all this anti-science talk on television. What planet is this guy from?
It's the Earth, so that sucks. So there are researchers on the gravy train already mentioned.
This is the kind of thing, right about now, you'd expect some guy sneaking up behind him with a big butterfly net to take him off to the nut house.
Or it says, someone comes up behind him and says, nice fabric.
Yeah, nice.
Rest of it. So no big deal. It's just like taking any industry, stripping it, and living the high life. It's the Earth, so that sucks.
Oh, it's just the Earth. That sucks.
So there are researchers on the gravy train already mentioned.
What gravy train? The gravy train for research is on proving man-made global warming and climate change. This is really crazy.
There are the media and exploiting politicians. I wrote this all yesterday, so I'm totally agreeing with you.
It's almost done, but he has some. This is the problem. I want to cut him off each time, then he has another gem.
There's a tiny group of anarcho-libertarians who just...
What is it?
Anarcho-libertarians?
What is that?
Anarchists.
Oh, what did he say? What's the term?
Anarcho.
How does that? Aren't anarchists more left wing?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
The anarchists that I grew up with in the 70s in Europe were all
the guys that throw the bombs.
They were kind of more communist.
Special kind of anarchy bomb. It's perfectly round and black, and it's got a fuse out the top, and it usually has a hammer and sickle.
Yes, commies.
And then you throw that bomb, and you're an anarchist, left-wing style.
Yeah, the commies.
Yeah,
so left.
Yeah, but no.
No.
It's a misnomer.
Okay.
There are the media and exploiting politicians. I wrote this all yesterday, so I'm totally agreeing with you. There's a tiny group of anarcho-libertarians.
Yesterday, this is his preparation, his prep.
Well, he's a writer. He could just do that.
By the way, it does happen. You're at the hotel the night before. You're right.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Friends who just read conspiracy theory websites.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. We'll back it up a second. Now,
just add to the list.
Yeah, just got to bring it in. Yeah,
I'm totally agreeing with you. There's a tiny group of anarcho-libertarians who just read conspiracy theory websites and don't yell at me. I know it's Boulder. I know there's a distinctively significant larger proportion of conspiracy theorists in Boulder than the rest of the world. And I'm happy to talk to you. But the biggest base are these conservative Christian fundamentalists and evangelicals who are convinced that we're living in a time when satanic agents walk the earth, and they're going to try and get you to abandon God. So for the first time...
Now here's his conclusion, just to summarize. The crazy Republican nutjob Christians... They are convinced. Conspiracy nuts. They are convinced that the agents of Satan are walking around, and it's time for the end times. And now he's going to explain that they're pretty much on message for what the crazy nut jobs want.
We actually have the ability to create an apocalypse. You're not going to lose the bet when you say it's like it's going to happen if we don't change things. And you know what they're going to say? I guess the apocalypse happened and it didn't happen the way we thought, but that will be a very brief thought.
Okay, because the crazy Christian religious right conspiracy nut Republicans are denying science and we're not going to make a change, the apocalypse will happen. A self-fulfilling prophecy. Great.
In their minds.
So he also believes in Armageddon.
What can I say? So here's the thing.
Actually, that's a great point. These guys are the ones who believe in Armageddon.
Yeah.
Because of the climate. Oh, we're all going to die from climate change.
But the Armageddon, you nailed it. The Armageddon is not prophecy because it can be stopped. This is the end times. This is Armageddon because of man-made climate change, but we can stop it. That's really what's good. So science is your religion to survival.
If, as a person who does...
Huh?
I'm going to have to think this over a little bit more because...
well, let me just...
the only reason these guys are so adamant is because people are trying to stop it. So they're making the point that they're getting the upper hand because all the huge amounts of money going into research to disprove that climate change is going on, when there's none, of course. They're creating a scenario where the world is going to be destroyed because that's what they want. And then they can blame it on somebody else. I'm not absolutely sure that they're sincere about any of this now. In other words, the sincerity about we can stop it.
I would agree.
I think they're a bunch of nihilists.
Almost done.
Write about social science.
I'm going to stop you before I want you to finish.
Yeah, I know.
Normally, I'd bitch and moan about this taking up so much of the show with one item. But you're right.
Thank you. Yeah.
This guy is so screwed. This is like...
But it's not just this guy.
It's like a revelation to listen to these people and this crazy woman who came on earlier with this stupid Victorian costume she roams around in. Okay.
But this is exactly what I'm trying to say. It's an hour long. Watch the whole thing because this is... And they believe it, John. They're completely believe it. And this guy says he's a Christian. But, I'm a different kind of Christian. That's what... And it is science as religion... Everything else is no good, except, of course, Islam, because, don't be an Islamophobe.
As a person who does, write about social science and a journalist, and I worked for a think tank for 30 years that researched right-wing social and political movements to try and help left-wing organizers figure out why they were saying these things like, there's no climate change, or abortion is sin and gay people should be shot or something. Or
gay people should be shot.
Or hung.
Like hanged.
Yeah, hang them. Hang. Yes. So now, Ted Cruz.
What right-wingers do you know that have this belief?
Well, clearly the Tea Party, Ted Cruz.
Oh, Ted Cruz.
Abortion is a sin, and gay people should be shot or hung. You feel me? Whoever said that? I never heard that. But when you're saying, how can I can't take this guy serious? But yes, and he's looking over at the other gay guy from Penn State. Like a little gay club there. Hey, as a bi-curious man, I take offense to this.
These things like, there's no climate change, or abortion is sin and gay people should be shot or something, or usually hanged.
And cigarettes don't give you cancer.
It doesn't work to say to them, your religion is a farce. Get over it.
Get over it. Your religion is a farce. Get over it already.
Embrace science.
Embrace science.
You're not going to convince these people that that's what's true. What's going to happen that does work is to talk about the difference between dominion and stewardship.
Dominion and stewardship. I'll only play the dominion part 15 seconds.
And dominion is one way of understanding within Christianity what God gave to humans. And dominion means you get to do whatever you want. You get to shit in your own kitchen, essentially.
Shit in your own kitchen. But he's going all out now. Because that's what we're doing, John. We're shitting in our own kitchen.
And dominion means you get to do whatever you want. You get to shit in your own kitchen, essentially, which is what we're doing now. Let's be frank. This is what we're doing to our planet.
Let's be frank. That's what we're doing.
You stepped on it. This got a new jingle. Oh.
Yeah, I heard it.
I didn't play it. No, you didn't.
It's got Obama in it.
Yeah.
The science is in. We're all gonna die.
All right, I'm done.
All right, that's enough.
Yes, it's more than enough.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, but this is important.
It's an hour of I'll never get back.
Who started it?
I know how the phrase goes.
That's not true. You enjoyed it. I know you enjoyed it.
It's an hour of my life.
All right.
I'll never get back.
No.
I only enjoyed it from some. It's like pulling wings off a fly. These people are annoying.
They're all over the place. And it's big now. And Bill Nye is der Führer. He's their leader. How sad is that?
Bill Nye, the Führer guy.
Yeah. Well, with that, maybe I should just thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., climate denier, Dvorak.
In the morning, Adam C. Curry. In the morning, all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water. And all the dames and nights out there. We have a lot of new dames and nights coming up, too, I want to mention later in the show.
We do. And in the morning to all in the chat room, noagendastream.com. In the morning to our artists, thank you very much, Martin JJ, saving us, because we've had some trouble with the art lately. I was going to remind you of that. And that's where you say yes.
Yes, I had a whole bit planned.
Oh, is it for later, the bit?
No, I forgot what the bit was. We got to get more art. We were doing, we were moving along, and then we started talking about how great the art is, and I guess all the artists went, that's fantastic. Thanks for the compliment. They stopped producing. Yeah. I don't know, or they can't get, or maybe the show. I think there's also this possibility. The show hasn't got any big. It has a lot of. It's consistently good. It doesn't have peaks and valleys, so they don't have...
Well, except for that hour you won't get back.
Focus on, and then during the valley, they can do the art and submit it. We have less of that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I think the show is consistently... If you look at the last number of shows, starting with 722, I believe that we've been extremely consistent. People keep mentioning it to us, that we're coming up with really good material that is, although I think that we finally... spent an hour on something that we could have just as easily avoided. Although I am not going to argue that it was uniquely, I think you positioned yourself. We did climate change last show. That's the only reason I'm complaining.
I understand. And it was.
Well, let's thank a few people that we started the newsletter. I did a newsletter that I got people. This one guy sent in a note saying, "You've shamed me into donating." And I specifically wrote that newsletter not as a shame letter, but as a nag letter. There's a difference between this type of writing. But it got a lot of attention, and we did get a lot of donations because at the time yesterday afternoon, we had like nothing in.
Yeah, which is pretty much. I read of course, you always send it to me for proofread, and I was, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's going to suck again.
Guy came in. Now everyone jumped in, which I'm going to say right now for everybody out there who wants to get a sneak in an executive producership Thursday.
Yeah.
Because this is going to be a lot of people. And we want to thank everybody, by the way, including, I got a note from one guy. I'm going to read it. I'm not going to say his name because it was under the
50 level
normal amount. But I wanted to, unfortunately, my printer's printing very light. I wanted to let you know that I read the newsletter and immediately donated. It was admittedly a small $5 amount, but it's what I had in my account, at least until the Social Security money comes in next, which is, he's a retired guy. I've been listening since the beginning, and finally I've been able to do more than just spread the formula. And then he says, it really does feel wonderful.
Nice. It's true.
So, we try to tell people that when you get involved to the point where you're actually contributing to the show, but financially, you feel better about everything, and you feel more of a part of the show. So let's start with
and a part of a community.
The community, which is it's very important. Sir Hey Idiot comes in at the top with $432.10 out of Concord, California, which is right down the street from me. By the way, when I ride my bike to work Friday, yes, I do wear a helmet, but I don't do all those other things that JCD seems to despise. Mm-hmm. I happen to be listening to the world's the Who's Behind Blue Eyes via Bluetooth speaker, as I also do not wear headphones while riding. Suddenly, these lyrics struck me. If I swallow anything evil, this is, by the way, the Who's
Blue Eyes.
If I swallow anything evil, put your finger down my throat. I thought, no agenda is the much needed finger down all our throats, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah,
it's
one way of looking at it. What are we puking up? And all right.
Then, in the course of my work as a dude named Ben, I happened to visit GoDaddy and noticed the DOT Life top-level domain was being offered. So naturally, macandcheese.life and macandcheese.life were begging to be claimed, so he got them. And finally tonight, I've allowed John's mailing to shame me, here we go again, into another countdown donation. So here's 43210. Because no agenda can be counted upon. If I smile, you'll tell me some bad news before I laugh and act like a fool. Thank you both for your courage, and please hit me with a little bugs, followed by whatever the chef recommends.
I love bugs! Bugs!
And we'll handle karma with that, too.
Tastes like poop.
Karma.
I think karma is what we recommend.
Yes, indeed.
Sorry, Jonathan Bigham in New Providence, New Jersey, $400, and he emailed in a very simple little note, and he says, just donated. Sorry, it's been a while. Hoping you can give me a de-douching in karma.
Absolutely.
You've been de-douched. You've got karma.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Philip Gorski in Issaquah, Washington, 35614. Dear John Adam, thank you for your courage and work on the PBITU. I meant to donate $365 to cover freeloading in 2014, but PayPal seems to not let me fix the typo. So he tried to 35614. I don't know. I'll include. You can just cancel and start over. I'll include the difference in my .15 donation. Adam, thanks for comments in the Enigma movie and the role of Poland. Job karma for my wife and karma for you too. Please to ensure the future donations, especially through the summer. Thanks, Philip.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Yo, thank you very much, Philip.
Has some not to be read stuff about random number that he's observing. Kent O'Rourke in Frostburg, Maryland, 34567. I have reverted back to Boner to fix that. Please accept this donation, and hopefully this will help out in this downtime. And thanks for the service you two do by giving the world's the best podcast in the universe. Could I please have some karma? I will be setting back up a recurring donation. PayPal canceled it.
Yeah, if you see this, and anyone who's on a monthly or any recurring, make sure you check in, because for some reason, there are some known reasons, PayPal will cancel that. But the crappy thing is they'll say that we canceled it. It's like, no, I don't think we would have canceled that.
You've got
Thank you
karma.
very much, Kent.
Onward with this trend. Alex Farrington in Santa Maria, California, 34567. I heard the call out for support loud and clear. The lower contributions aren't a function of NA dysfunction. Rather, I think it's generally a function of apathy, distraction, or general douchebaggery. For me, it was mostly 2 and 3, but no more. I wanted to get in on the Fletcher Fest with a Pi Day donation, but I actually got married on Pi Day, and that impacted my ability to send support sooner, at least at this level. Shout-outs to Dame Bang Bang and Sir D.H. Hammer, and a douchebag check for Sherman Nilsson, who hit me in the mouth back in the Bush administration and still hasn't donated.
He wants a douchebag check or a douchebag?
I think he wants a douchebag, but he wants a douchebag check.
Douchebag check! No, douchebag check! Douchebag.
Yeah, we found the douchebag.
Thank you for your courage, citizens. I'd love a "Don't Eat Me, Hillary." It's almost too delicious to believe. And a "Shut Up Already, It's Science." And maybe a Kiki was worth it, as I know that's 4. Maybe I am a douchebag, he says.
What difference he wanted? Oh, man.
Don't eat me, Hillary.
Okay, don't eat me, Hillary. What
too
difference?
Delicious to believe.
Oh, too delicious. I thought he said... no. Okay. I'm getting it.
To believe,
yeah, too delicious to believe. But I heard you say, what difference at that point does it make? That's not in there?
I didn't say that.
Don't eat me, Hillary Clinton.
Shut up already. It's science.
It's almost too delicious to believe, my friend.
What difference at this point does it make?
It was worth it.
You've got karma.
The musings of our DJ Adam.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. It's the Z Morning Zoo, everybody.
Sean Fincham, I think, in Manteca, California, which means ball of lard, by the way. It's a town in Central California.
Fincham.
34567. ITM Jensen, thank you for your courage. Long-time boner. First-time donor. I've always told myself I'd donate once I graduated from college.
Mm-hmm.
He put college. He put graduated college. You're not from Europe.
Yeah, I've graduated uni.
And landed on my feet. So here it is. First of all, I'd like to thank Drew Olson for hitting me in the mouth 4 years ago and give him a douchebag call out, as I've never heard his name on the donor list.
Douchebag.
I moved down to the Dust Bowl, that is Central Valley of California, almost 2 years ago from beautiful Bend, Oregon. And I listened to your show on my frequent road trips down to L.A. to see my smoking hot, hopefully soon-to-be fiancé, as well as up to home in Oregon. Can't thank you enough for the endless hours of laughter and insight the show provides. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. Please accept the humble donation as my first of many on my journey to knighthood, and have Adam D. douche me, then pick 2 jingles of his liking before giving me a jobs proposal, karma, and I'll be popping the question in a couple of weeks.
Very
He'll
good.
send pictures.
You've been de-douche.
We're all gonna die! Ow!
ISIS. We will follow them to the gates of hell.
ISIS. I feel good.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
I amuse myself.
Yeah, you do. Sir Random Hillbilly Tom Rich. It's you're on drugs.
No.
Did we mention? I think it was before the show. We haven't mentioned it yet.
Oh yes, I'm tripping on Sudafed, man.
Why?
Pollen tsunami.
It's raining. When the rain comes, it takes and catches the pollen and pushes it into the water.
Okay, so it's not raining constantly, and everyone in Austin is sneezing. there's the air, so it rains, then all of a sudden it's 92 degrees for half a day, and then
that's got to be great.
Yeah.
It rains. It's 92 degrees.
Yeah, I kid you not.
Funny about that.
Yeah, everyone's sneezing.
Tim Wachinski, the Sir Random Hillbilly in Elkins, West Virginia, 33333. Apologies for the delay in tithing, but dating someone half your age is tiring. That would be true. Please note that you also have producers who are deep in the structure of the internet standards bodies, punching people in the mouth regularly. Wait, further instructions.
Okay. We shall.
Keep us apprised.
Activate when necessary.
James Spitzer.
Sir James Spitzer.
In Boston, Massachusetts.
Sir James.
Sir James, yes, Sir James. And he has, I think, a note. Actually, he doesn't have a note. Exactly why, I'm not sure. He usually sends something in. Okay, well, Sir James, if you have something to tell us, you can tell us next show. All right, Sir David Overbeck in Brookfield, Wisconsin, 33333. This donation is toward the damehood of my beautiful wife, Kristen. Adam met us both at the Illinois Hot Pockets meetup.
Hot Pockets!
Keep up the good work, gentlemen. You do not only keep me informed, but also make my commute and every home ownership project 100% better.
We're great to listen to while doing home ownership improvements.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't know what I would do without the show. Okay.
Well, that makes three of us.
Corwin Underwood. Yes. $300 in Hamilton, Ohio. ITM is a total drunk donation. Okay, I'll try it.
Yep.
This is a total drunk donation. I'm pretty sure this puts me over the threshold of knighthood. Sorry for the summer slowdown in donations. I hope this helps. Please continue the best podcast in the universe. All other people need to donate. I would like a human resource karma for my soon-to-be-born son. He's due in August. I'm a first-time father and need all the karma I can get. I would like to be knighted Sir Crown.
No, Corwin.
Corwin. Sir Corwin. Keep up the good work, fellows.
I like drunk donations.
Yeah.
Not just because you read them in a drunk manner, but drunk people and children always tell the truth.
Yes, they do.
There you go. Here's a human resource karma on the way for you. Thank you very much.
You've got karma.
You'll enjoy it. It's fun.
Associate Executive Producer next. Charles Mack, $271.83 from Arcata, California. Poor man's pie, he says, which is 27183. Not absolutely 3.
Well, it's 14.271. It's after the decimal.
Oh, I get it.
Really, John?
I thought it was the price of something you get from the House of
The
Pies.
Morning Zoo DJ has to figure that one out? My goodness.
Gerald Small in Gilbert, Arizona, 23456. Thanks for the John's email today. It reminds me that quality ain't free, and if we want to continue, then a donation is in order if we want it to continue. It's been a couple of months since I've sent along some appreciation, but I know there are thousands writing free. Come on, you freeloaders, time to pony up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what you have until the morning you wake up and you don't have it
It's
anymore.
gone, that's right.
Gone. Poof, poof. Sir Michael Shoemaker, the Baron of Lake County in Kelseyville, California, which is in Lake County, I believe, 23456. Hope this helps with the contribution slowdown. Come on, you boners, pitch in even if it requires you to give up that double chocolate pumpkin latte you order every morning on the way to work if you're lucky enough to have a job. I don't know why, but that was funny.
Yeah.
Keep punching them in the mouth, JC, D, and AC. Karma to you both. Sir Mike, Baronet of Lake County. Baronet, okay.
You've got karma.
Maurice Tate, 23456. We have did you notice the thing? We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have a string of them.
Well,
and he's in Vallejo, California. Got your backs, guys. Hey, how about paying some attention to the total idiocy that is California's government? Jerry Brown? Kamala Harris? Sanchez? Anyway, here's some money. Enjoy. Sir Festus of Alva.
Well, that's your beat. If I have Bill Nye, you got to have California.
It's not as funny as Bill Nye, believe me.
True.
Sir John Harrison in Austin, Texas, 323456. Finishes my baronetcy and puts me on the path to baron. Can I get some job karma for my daughter, Sarah, who graduated from college this week? She didn't graduate college. She graduated from college, as he puts it. Thank you for giving us TPBITU. Sir John Harrison, Austin, Texas.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
Woo! Thank you very much.
Karma.
I'll be seeing you on the podium later.
Okay, let me look at Edward Sheets. I didn't see he was blank, but SAGATS, I think. See if he sent us a note. Edward Sheets. Donation, no, just a no. That's odd. It's not even listed. It must have come in by the mail or something. Not sure.
I got Gerald Sheets, but no.
What do we got here? Oh, wait. What is this?
Take all your time. Whatever you want.
I think. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do something for myself here. Don't worry. It's all good.
No, I don't have anything. I got a Rushing's letter. Anyway, Sheets 23456, Sir Upper Decker, Escondido, California, $200. Offering up your percentage of my tax return. Thanks for the tax man karma. Sir Who's Ever in Quantico, Virginia, 200. Government man, I'm guessing.
You think?
Leave my real name out. Note, I'm answering a call for low donations. I'll donate. I'm reading it like a government guy. Leave my real name out. Yeah. Note, I'm answering the call due to low donations. I'll donate more once debt-free. I'm not even getting a paycheck till June. Thank you for your courage. May I get an ITM and cyber jingles?
Yeah, sure.
In the morning.
Cyber! I'm going to throw in a karma as well then.
You've got karma.
I guess.
That is my new voice of the government guy.
Yeah, he's real.
James Ogilvy in Simsbury, Connecticut. ITM boys have been. It's been a while since my last donation. Wanted to give $100 for being a CT School of Broadcasting grad.
Hey.
And $100 for having a box of about 50 zip drive cartridges, all from my schoolwork in 1997.
Nice.
I don't have a drive anymore, but I can't bring myself to throw my work away. I sent him a link to a USB zip drive you can buy from Amazon. They're about $80. Plus they cost some. I can't bring myself to throw my work away. Plus they cost some ducats back then. Happy birthday to my daughter Rowan, who turns 18. We have her on the list. He wants a little girl, Boom Shakalaka, F the EU, and Hot Pockets.
Okay.
Boom Shakalaka. Boom Shakalaka.
Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU.
Hot Pockets.
Well, that was in the distance.
Kind of a downer.
That was really a downer.
It didn't quite work out the way I expected it to.
Yeah. Sir Stuart Rushing from Corvallis, where is it? I get it.
Corvallis, Oregon.
He sent a note in, written in a font of note. In the morning, guys, my contribution was delayed a couple of weeks ago, and I was providing some financial assistance to family members. Anyway, I'm back on track and sharing some of the largesse I received as a part of the USA nuclear industry. He's involved with small modular reactors, to be specific.
These are the ones we like.
Yeah, these are the ones you want.
Yeah, for sure.
And, of course, nobody talks about that. They talk about wind power. I do have to point you out that you missed a glaring inconsistency in show 722 clip about aphids and broccoli in the school cafeteria. I think the ginormous quote blinded you.
Probably.
The news story made a comment about frozen broccoli. Having grown broccoli, I'm aware that aphids are a big problem. However, I find it difficult to understand how the aphids survived the flash freezing process and were then resurrected in the school cafeteria since the broccoli was thawed and served. Methinks is just another example of the piss-poor fact-checking by our media. Or maybe those really small microscopic almost bugs are really hardy. Regardless, I enjoy your bi-weekly conversations and media deconstructions. I think bi-weekly means twice a month, every other week.
Yeah.
Twice a week. And media deconstructions, please continue.
We shall.
And this is Night of the 10 CFR 50 Appendix B.
Ah, yes.
We remember him.
Yes.
Stuart. Thank you, Stuart.
Well, thanks to all of our executive producers and associate executive producers. Thanks for hearing the call. This is great. These are real credits. They get put right there on the front page of every single episode, along with our artists, of course. Very much like Hollywood, real credits. You can put these anywhere credits are accepted. It turns out your LinkedIn is great. People, when they say, hey, executive producer, let me go see what that is. I want to hire that person.
I think it works. It looks good. I've seen people do it.
Yeah.
It looks like, oh, executive producer. He must be something special.
Maybe he has an actress I can bang. No. We don't have. So we read your notes in entirety.
That's all that's missing.
That's right. And later on in the show, we will thank everyone at the $50 level or above. And please remember, we do have a show on Thursday.
Dvorak.org/NA.
A lot of mouth hitting in the letters today. You can also participate with the formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Amen. Fist bump.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave. Before we continue, a new month is upon us. The month of June. That means it's time for some presidential proclamations.
June swoon.
Yes, we have the following as proclaimed by the president. National Caribbean or Caribbean American Heritage Month. Not quite sure. I guess that's people from Jamaica and Haiti, I'm sure. And then we have, it is African American Music Appreciation Month, which means time for another concert at the White House. Get Jay-Z and Beyonce should get ready. He always does it. It is National Oceans Month. It is National Great Outdoors Month. And finally, National LGBT Pride Month. Let me see if there's anything we need to do for Pride Month.
Well, I have a clip.
You have a clip for Pride Month?
Well, kind of.
Okay, what is it?
So I just got this clip from the NewsHour, and then I went to the website that cited, and I will recommend everybody. Well, play the clip. This is the clip that says Science Magazine Gay Scam.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we explore questions about how scientific findings are published and verified, and whether allegations of fraud involving a top science journal are damaging credibility with the wider public. Yesterday, Science Magazine retracted a study published in December that found people's attitudes towards same-sex marriage were more likely to be changed by face-to-face conversations with gay canvassers over straight ones. It was a study that got quite a bit of pickup in the news media. Now that it's been retracted by a leading journal, it poses questions for the scientific establishment. Again, to Hari, who has more on the story.
Now, did you read this? The results of this survey?
Yeah. I looked at this whole thing over. There's been Retraction Watch, which is where this guy came from. This they're going to interview in a second. Is a newsletter that discusses, or it's a blog, but it's a really good blog. And I recommend everybody who listens to the show to go to retractionwatch.com and just plow through it. It is fascinating. And the most fascinating part about this story, but play the rest of this, and I'll tell you where it went.
The study's lead author asked for the retraction after the original findings could not be duplicated, and his co-author, a graduate student, was accused of misrepresenting how the work was done. This is the latest retraction in a major journal. In recent years, there have been others involving cloning and stem cell research. Ivan Oransky is a journalist as well as a medical doctor who broke this story. He is co-founder of the blog Retraction Watch and global editorial director of MedPage Today, an online medical news service for physicians and other medical professionals. So, first of all, this particular case, how did we get here? What went wrong?
So what seems to have gone wrong was that only some of this study, or at least we can only see that some of this study actually happened. Lots of pressure on researchers. We don't exactly know what happened here in the sort of early days, but part of the study, which was that gay people went to people's houses and tried to convince them that gay marriage was a good thing, that they should agree with it. That part seems to have happened. What's a little unclear is whether they're surveying them afterward to tell whether you'd actually change their minds, which in this case was a pretty important part of the study, whether that actually happened. And so you fast forward a little bit, this paper gets published in a really big journal, as you said, in Science, a major science journal. Yeah. And that happens in December. And then a couple months later, some grad students at Berkeley, they decide, oh, we want to do the next set of experiments. We think this is pretty cool.
And this is how science works.
That's supposed to be how science works. So they start looking at it and something doesn't look right to them. They start asking a lot of questions, which again is supposed to be the way science works. Ask the lead author, hey, what's actually happening here? And no one can find the data.
How you can't find anything. The guy goes on and on about explaining what happened. And it was just a bogus study that somehow got published. Everyone was all jacked up about it, but it was all bull crap. And of course, that's the way science works. I thought was kind of fits in with your earlier clips. Apparently, none of the climate guys think that's how science works. It's 97% are in, and that's that. Now, Retraction Watch, which is a really great blog, has been following this, and it hasn't about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 posts about it, including the one about David Brockman. And the way science is supposed to work and the way it kind of works in the modern era, which is you shout down the people who bring up anything.
Yeah, you burn them at the stake.
You burn them at the stake. Yeah. And so let me just read from his last post here. He says, Berkeley graduate student David Brockman, that's the guy they didn't mention on the show there.
Right.
One of the people whose critique brought down the study, quote, and there's a quote here from this guy, was consistently told by friends and advisors to keep quiet about his concerns lest he earn a reputation as a troublemaker.
Troublemaker. Ah, yes.
Or perhaps worse, someone who merely replicates and investigates others' research rather than plant a flag of his own. And then the writer of the Retraction Watch adds a chilling quote from New York Magazine's Jesse Singal, who is writing about, who seemed to be deeply involved in this whole thing because Singal was one of the first guys to push this story into the mainstream media, and then when it got burned off, he wrote many of the counter things.
Right.
But yeah, I think the shouting down thing was right. This is it right here. We see it in an example. Everyone says, no. I found that was the most interesting part of this. Not that it was a bogus.
No, the
study.
shouting down part, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a real problem, and that's what these guys, the Bill Nye and all these other guys, and they always go around, the people hating on me. They're hating on me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They're bullying me. They call me evil. Just staying in this for a moment.
Now, see, there's another voice that you could develop. That's kind of the German.
They're calling me evil.
Slightly German, kind of that German dancer from Saturday Night Live.
Now is the time on Sprockets when we dance.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Work on that.
Mm-hmm. Marco Rubio. What is he Catholic?
I would hope so.
Let me see what he is. He was a member of Church of Christ of Latter-day Saints. What?
What?
He was LDS as a kid? I didn't know that. Says it. Well, I'm looking at the Book of Knowledge.
That's the world's best kept secret.
Let me see. This is from CNN. I'm just reading it here, which is another part of Book of Knowledge. Yes, as a boy. Oh, yeah. A new wrinkle emerged Thursday. When was this? This is from February 2012. Huh. The autobiography of, so no one read the autobiography, of rising Republican star Senator Marco Rubio.
Was like the book that Nancy Pelosi came out with. It just it sold zero.
Well, funny enough, this is Marco Rubio about the war on religion, and Nancy Pelosi has a response. First, Rubio.
Today, we've reached a point in our society where if you do not support same-sex marriage, you are labeled a homophobe and a hater. So what's the next step after that? After they've done going after individuals, the next step is to argue that the teachings of mainstream Christianity, the Catechism of the Catholic Church, is hate speech. Yeah. And that's a real and present danger.
Yeah. That's a message he should stay on. He'll get elected with that message.
He's got the Catholic. He was a Catholic, and then he became a Mormon, and then he quit Mormonism in June of 2012. He calls credits. Marco Rubio credits his short-term short-lived time as a Mormon for providing a moral compass in his youth.
Here's Nancy Pelosi responding to those remarks, and he said that, well, she responded.
I thoroughly disagree. Being raised in a Catholic family, raising a Catholic family.
Isn't her husband Jewish? I'm pretty sure she's married to a Jew, isn't she?
Well, I know, obviously, Feinstein is, but
I could be wrong. Yeah, take a look.
We're doing this on the fly.
That's right. This is how it works. That's right. Great. They canceled Rubicon, and this is what we do.
Mainstream Catholic. This statement by Senator Rubio is most unfortunate. It's a polarizing statement. The fact is that what we were taught was to respect people in our faith. And to say that this endangers mainstream Christian thinking is so completely wrong. And again, it's polarizing, and I would hope that perhaps he believes what he says, and I assume that he does. But I hope that we can persuade him differently, because the country is going in a completely different direction now. Yes. And it's very, very exciting. I don't even think that Pope Francis would subscribe to what Martha Rubio just said.
Yeah, this is all going to be very interesting. Supreme Court is going to make a decision on gay marriage. The Pope is it sounds like, this very important Pope. And
the husband is a Roman Catholic. Pelosi's his name.
Right.
Full name.
This Pope, I'm telling you, he's going to figure out a way to make the crazy Republican Christian nut jobs, conspiracy theorists believe in climate change, man-made climate change. He's going to somehow make everyone be cool with gay marriage. He's an important guy. And I think he'll be successful. I think he can do it. People love this Pope. When's the last time you heard anyone talk about the Pope, a previous Pope?
It's more non-Catholics talking about him than Catholics.
Of course, because he's the agent of change. He's doing the devil's work, John. Yeah, sorry. My theory on FIFA, I don't know if it's...
I have a couple of FIFA clips.
Okay. I was just going to say the Palestinians did, they dropped the vote to kick Israel out.
They dropped the ball.
They dropped the,
You said the boat, didn't you?
The vote.
Oh, the vote.
The vote. Yeah, the vote.
Yeah, they dropped the ball. The ball is a reference to soccer, so it's funnier.
And now I know why. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm pulling myself up off the floor. Now I know why Comey was involved with the whole indictment and the announcement. Barclays and HSBC have been named in the Department of Justice paperwork for being the conduit.
Big fine. Another big fine coming our way.
Well, yeah, but of course he was on the board of directors at HSBC before he came over to became the director of the FBI. So I'm sure maybe Barclays might get a big fine. I'm pretty sure HSBC will be just fine because
we'll see.
We take care of each other.
No, that's true. You're just assuming. But let's listen to RT. Now, there's this woman, this British woman, who's she's a botcher. She scrambles stuff she's on RT. She's a cute little British girl named Katie Pilbeam.
Yes, yeah, I like her.
With a very cute name, yep. Pilbeam. I'm Miss Pilbeam.
She has dark hair?
No, little blonde.
Oh,
Pilbeam. And she is cute as a button, and she's always screwing things up. So let's play.
She's totally cute.
Yeah, she's cute as a button. That's how cute she is. Play the RT Katie Pilbeam WTF clip and tell me if you can spot the gaffe.
Hello there, you're watching RT International. You're with me, Katie Pilbeam. It's just gone 8 o'clock in the evening this Saturday. You're with RT. RT's newly re-elected boss has held his first media briefing after Friday's tense vote in the wake.
Wait a minute. Did she say RT's newly elected boss?
You caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah, RT's
newly elected boss instead of FIFA. Oh, poor girl. Come on. She's just reading the prompter.
RT's newly re-elected boss has held his first media briefing after Friday's tense vote in the wake of the corruption scandal that's engulfed world football's most powerful body.
Hey, Blatter's an Arab. Just to point that out. I
didn't know that.
Yes. It's all connected. I'm telling you, that's why there was a whole Israel-Palestine thing. This
I think indictment. You're right on most of this.
And what laws did they really break?
I don't know.
Right.
That's a question on my mind, too. It's like, oh, they're taking bribes. Well, maybe the systems, that's what they do, because that's the way that works.
Well,
it's not like they're American companies taking bribes against one of our laws. It's an international body.
You can call it a bribe. International. It's not
I would just call it a payoff.
But it's just business.
A fee. It's a fee.
Yeah. Finder's fee, a commission, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
It's not bribery.
But here's RT on Bladder. Because the RT takes a different perspective on this.
Yeah, this is anti-Putin, Russia.
They take the RT says it's all America trying to get back at Putin, and it's all bull crap, and we're just a bunch of sleazeballs.
Well, there's that.
We're in football. Those who have lost today, they could win tomorrow. The same as in football. And I'm also the president of those who did not vote for me.
Well, just 2 days before the vote, 14 FIFA officials were indicted by America on corruption charges. The arrests were then used as a last-ditch assault against Blatter's presidency. Some top politicians and football officials called for him to quit. Nevertheless, on Friday, Blatter enjoyed the support of the majority of FIFA members and won an unprecedented 5th term in charge. Well, Blatter says he's shocked at the way football's ruling body has been targeted. He insists the arrests of FIFA officials and calls for his resignation are of no coincidence, as Harry Fear reports.
One of his main points, actually bizarrely and very interestingly, is to question the fishy timing of that US whole saga where we saw those high-profile, scandalous arrests and raids on the offices here by Swiss police of FIFA. Now, he said the timing just doesn't smell right, and the context, of course, was this was just 48 hours before the vote on his re-election.
Curiously enough, American journalists arrived in advance to witness the arrests at the Zurich hotel.
Yeah, the New York Times guys were tipped off. They knew it. They were already waiting there. I forgot to mention that last show.
Yeah. Another big point he's been making today is that he really says the US and the UK are bitter. They're sore, poor losers. They didn't win the 2018 and 2022 World Cup nation hosting bids. They're sore losers. Of course, 2018 went to Russia, 2022 went to Qatar. Now, on the European side, he said that UEFA's hatred of him, as he calls it, is not just with the leader of the organisation, but is incumbent throughout the entire organisation, is systemic. The organisation, UEFA, he says, has never really accepted him as president since he was first elected back in 1998.
Yeah, because he's an Arab.
Well, there's that, and he also doesn't kowtow to the European interests of UEFA, which is the European operation.
Right.
They showed a map of the way the votes went down for him, and it was like, what? You've never seen anything so.
It was
political.
like the European Song Contest.
Yeah, it was Europe, United States, and South America on one side, and then Africa, Russia, and China on the other. And And it does look like there could be a split, because now England's saying, well, maybe we're not going to play the game anymore with these jokers. And your theory might be confirmed by the fact that they've dropped the whole thing, because this guy only won by one vote, and he doesn't need to get something. He doesn't need to stir up anything by letting that Israel versus Palestine thing fester.
And I'm pretty sure all these guys who are indicted, they'll all walk. Maybe some loser, draws the short stick, then he gets, something. It's also, it may be it is a distraction. I don't know if it's intentional. The LIBOR fixing trial is ongoing right now. It's not reported at all. I think BBC is doing some work. This is the fixing of the LIBOR rate, which is
that is a huge scandal.
What the economy is kind of based on. What you're paying for your mortgage is partially, if not entirely, determined by the LIBOR rates. And they've got some schmuck, some douche.
Oh, they'll find some guy.
Yeah, it's the 35-year-old
scapegoat,
former city trader. Of course, he's going to be the guy. Oh, they were taking bribes and going on trips. Ugh, I'm shocked. So nothing will come out of that. And then maybe another reason Comey is pushing the FIFA, or was pushing the FIFA thing. Let's keep HSBC out of the way, because they were intimately involved in the LIBOR fixing. So everyone's protecting each other. And this kind of leads into what I think is a war on cash story. I haven't really looked too deeply into this Dennis Hastert's thing. This is a former Speaker of the House. in the United States of Gitmo
Nation.
Nation?
Look into because they've been keeping most of this hushed up. We don't know anything.
Well, I do know what the indictment is, and that's.
Let's play. I have a clip from NewsHour.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Hastert, and we can at least get a little background on this.
Good.
Former Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Dennis Hastert, has resigned from his law firm amid federal charges of misconduct. Multiple media outlets reported today the misconduct involves sexual abuse allegations by an unnamed man. The Illinois Republican was indicted yesterday and accused of agreeing to pay millions in hush money. The indictment itself did not describe the misconduct, but it did say that it involved a person Hastert knew from a high school where he taught and coached from 1965 to 1981.
Incidentally, I love it when we fit together and you have a clip that explains the background. That's fantastic. It's random number theory.
Well, you're welcome.
Cosmos. So, of course, it's always fun to out a Republican as gay. It's nothing funnier than that. Because
well, you have to admit.
They hate gays. We all know it.
Well, they obviously don't hate gays.
No, because most of them are gay.
Have to admit, it is kind of funny.
It gets old. And
it does get old.
I don't think it's okay to out anybody for any reason. It's not okay. It's not your business.
Okay, now I'm on your side.
But if there was some alleged abuse, but that's so. The report was correct because I have the.
This is more of like.
Well, listen to the indictment.
I want to mention one more thing. There was, I think, an interesting point which was made maybe on some obscure news report. It is interesting that a guy making $270,000 a year can afford up to apparently $2 million cash hush money. That's an indictment of not the Republicans being gay, but an indictment of all congressmen somehow making all this extra money.
The indictment, which does not describe the misconduct,
which is strange to me.
Very strange. But he has one count of evading bank regulations by withdrawing $952,000 in increments of less than $10,000 to skirt the reporting requirements. This is now illegal. And it's all. I think Wall.
They should make it. It's not. It's bullcrap. It's not illegal.
Hold on. It's very yes. I think it is illegal, John. If you are trying to withdraw a whole bunch of money to skirt the legal limit of $10,000,
technical illegality.
Yeah, well, that's what he was indicted on.
I find it.
And then one count of lying to the FBI about the reason. It shouldn't. FBI
that's where he's going to get screwed, Martha Stewart.
Yeah. Oh, and it's FBI. Mm-hmm. Comey again.
As one of the whistleblowers from the NSA, I forgot which one, said, "Don't talk to the FBI."
No, but he shouldn't have to explain that at all. That's his money, but apparently it's not because you're not. This $10,000 that's from the 70s, I think. It's been around a long time.
It was to fight cocaine dealers,
and has never been adjusted for inflation. And this, it's a very strange thing.
Well, when we're done with this, I want to discuss inflation for a minute.
Okay, let me see. I think I'm done with this. All right, let's discuss inflation.
So I was looking at, I got a note from someone. I've been irked about this. That guy, John Williams, a guy in San Francisco, does Shadow Stats, and I sent them a note recently. He's got a different inflation rate than what the government's telling us. And I was thinking, I came to mind, so I decided to do some calculations. I want to just express a few of them.
So this is your calculus.
My calculus. It came to mind because I read this article in one of the business magazines. Why a Boeing 747-8 cost $357 million. And he says the first 747 from Boeing was put into the market in 1970, and those first planes sold at a list price of $24 million. Adjusting for inflation, the same 747 should sell today for $146.6 million. So why does Boeing have the passenger plane selling for $356.9 million? And as soon as I read that, I said, well, first of all, the business writer is obviously all in on what the government says inflation was. the story just points out that it's bull crap. The reason Boeing's selling the plane for $340 million is because that's what it cost them to make and sell the plane.
Yeah.
And so I decided to look back, and there's a bunch of these CPI calculators out there. So I grabbed one of them.
It's possible that some parts also became more expensive for some reason.
Well, everything is going up.
Yeah.
But that's called inflation. So if inflation says it should sell for $146, but it sells for $350, what's wrong with this picture? It's not that Boeing's gouging anybody. It's that the plane cost this much to make.
Yeah.
So just to prove that the whole thing is because government numbers are bogus, which this guy never brings up, he's just criticizing Boeing for charging too much based on inflation. I decided to go into the inflation calculator that the government says and then compare it to reality.
Okay.
So I've got some 1970 prices of things that went on.
Oh, hold on.
And I remember when I was young.
Whoa. I'm sorry. You can't just do that.
Why?
You have to get into the time machine. We got to go back to 1970. Here we go. I'm much younger now. Hi, John.
Hi, hello.
Hi, I'm
John,
a kid.
I still have, my voice hasn't changed.
So I have a thing about prices. I can remember prices, and I'm kind of like a price guy. I can kind of see what things should sell for. And so I remember some wine prices of wine that was bought in the 1970, 1972 time frame. And now I'm going to adjust for inflation and tell you what these same wines cost today.
Okay.
This looks exactly like Boeing's numbers.
A question. Do you have Chateau Latour on your list?
No.
Okay.
I have had Chateau Latour plenty of times.
I've had a Chateau. It's very tasty.
Delicious. It's one of the really great wines.
Especially if you didn't pay for it yourself. It's fantastic.
Yes, it's very fantastic. Okay. Beaulieu BV Private Reserve, one of the greatest vintages. One of the great vintages was 1968. That wine came out at $4.80 a bottle. Very expensive at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it came out around 70, 71. Mm-hmm. Adjusted for inflation.
Hold on. Survey says.
Adjusted for inflation, the wine should cost $27.17. It actually costs $90. So we have a factor. It's not even just a little difference.
Have these people ever heard of supply and demand and how markets work and how pricing is set?
It's beside the point. Because I have too many examples. It's not just supply and demand. It is the cost of business. And the French aren't really into the big prices.
I have a question. Yes. Yeah. Does it cost more in labor to create a wine from Texas here, Grape Creek, versus making a Chateau Latour?
Probably more expensive to make the Latour.
But really a lot more expensive?
No, not
Or is it just a better grape?
Well, you're missing my point here. This is all accounted for by inflation. If it costs more to make something in 2015 than it did in 1970, it's because it has to be adjusted for inflation. There's inflationary factors involved, including the cost of labor. So let's look at some more of these examples. Chateau Gloria. This is a French wine. In 1970-71, you could buy it for $1.70 a bottle. For inflation, that means it should sell for today $9.62. It sells for $40.
Mm-hmm.
That's a factor of 4 difference. Chateau Giscours, the 1967 vintage, sold for $2.30. Inflation, $13. Reality, $50. Chateau Haut-Bailly, $3.40 for the 67 vintage, which wasn't a great vintage, but it was a good wine. It should be $19.24 a bottle today, based on the U.S. government's calculator. In fact, it sells for like $50 to $90 a bottle. Okay, now let's go to my mother's house. She bought a house in Albany in 1972, and I switched the numbers on the calculator. She bought this place for $27,000. The calculator, the government calculator, says it should be worth, if you add inflation, $152,000.
It's probably worth $600,000 now.
$650.
Right.
A stamp. Stamps are actually not too bad, because I think a stamp's like 44 cents, 46 cents, something like that. But a stamp in 1970 was 6 cents. Adjusted for inflation, it went to should be 37 cents. It's still high.
So the government is lying.
Stagflation was another issue. Let's look. You want to look at some cars?
I don't know, but I kind of get your point.
1972 Corvette, $5,400. For inflation, a Corvette today should sell for $30,000. It sells for $55,000. 1970 Barracuda, $2,700 brand new, should sell for $16,000 based on inflation. It sells for $60,000. You want me to go on? Let me go one.
No, not really.
I got one more.
I don't really.
This is the one you have to have. Mm-hmm. Okay. 1970, Medicare was in play, and you had the same way it is today. You can pay a monthly fee for Medicare if you're retired, or you can just have it taken out of your Social Security. Whatever the case, you can find the numbers. In 1970, Medicare on a monthly basis was $5.30. Adjusted for inflation today, it should be $32 for Medicare. But what is it? It's $104 plus up to $230 if somebody makes actual money during their retirement. It's almost $300 or 10 times more than the inflation calculator tells us it should. I can go on and on and on with this.
Please don't.
And the point is that these numbers are bull crap. And the reason for that is obvious. They don't want to add to the Social Security benefits.
There it is.
They should have adjusted for inflation, and they're not doing it.
Yes.
The banks don't want to pay interest. The whole thing is a giant scam, and everybody's bought into it, including the business writer who said that the Boeing jet, it costs too much money.
John C. Dvorak's pet peeve of the day.
Whew. The only thing that has remained consistent is the cost of mac and cheese. That is still down there at slave wage levels.
Once they created the magical powdered cheese, they could make it cheaper.
Okay, I'm going to move us forward. With the President's podcast, I'm pretty sure you have a clip about this too, but I felt today is one of those days where we absolutely need to listen to it's a short one, but his entire podcast. Because it's coming right down to the wire, and some people will hear this after the fact, and you'll see what became of it. As always, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
As President and Commander-in-Chief, my greatest responsibility is the safety of the American people.
Okay, here we go. Let's stop one moment. Before one enters on the execution of one's office, one shall take the following oath or affirmation as the President of the United States. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. That is your top responsibility, Mr. President. I despise it when you do this. You're just doing it to make us scared.
And in our fight against terrorists, we need to use every effective tool at our disposal, both to defend our security and to protect the freedoms and civil liberties enshrined in our Constitution. But tomorrow, Sunday at midnight, some important tools we use against terrorists will expire.
Tools? Yeah, the tools are going to expire.
That's because Congress has not renewed them, and because legislation that would, the USA Freedom Act, is stuck in the Senate. I want to be very clear about what this means.
Please.
Today, when investigating terrorist networks, our national security professionals can seek a court order to obtain certain business records. Our law enforcement professionals can seek a roving wiretap to keep up with terrorists when they switch cell phones. We can seek a wiretap on so-called lone wolves, suspected terrorists.
He just said so-called lone wolves. Nowhere in the legislation does it mention lone wolves.
Who may not be directly tied to a terrorist group. These tools are not controversial.
Yeah, they are.
Since 9/11, they've been renewed numerous times.
Yeah, by douchebags.
FBI Director James Comey says they are essential and that losing them would severely impact terrorism investigation.
Make him have to do work.
Yeah, and he has to do work and to convict people like Martha Stewart and send them to jail.
But if Congress doesn't act by midnight tomorrow, these tools go away.
Tools.
The USA Freedom Act also accomplishes something I called for a year and a half ago. It ends the bulk metadata program, the bulk collection of phone records.
By the government.
As it currently exists, and puts in place new reforms. The government will no longer hold these records. Telephone providers will.
Right. Then they'll get paid for it, and it's much easier to access, and they're indemnified, and this is just smoke.
The act also includes other changes to our surveillance laws, including more transparency, to help build confidence among the American people that your privacy and civil liberties are being protected.
That transparency he's talking about, because of course I've read this bill. I read it last night again to reassure myself that the bill passed on to the Senate includes extension of the sunset provision of the 2005 extension of the Patriot Act. It's at the very bottom of the document. I don't understand why no one is mentioning this. It extends what they're saying is going to go away.
By the Senate.
No, I know it hasn't been passed by the Senate. I got it.
But if Congress doesn't act by tomorrow at midnight, these reforms will be in jeopardy as well.
Oh, boy.
Well, wait. Hold on, listen.
It doesn't have to be this way.
No.
The USA Freedom Act reflects ideas from privacy advocates, our private sector partners, and our national security experts. It already passed the House of Representatives with overwhelming bipartisan support, Republicans and Democrats. That doesn't happen very often.
That tells you something.
And now he pulls a little trick on this one.
A majority of the Senate, Republicans and Democrats, have voted to move it forward.
This is interesting the way he says that. A majority, true, but not the required majority for this particular type of vote.
So what's the problem? A small group of senators is standing in the way.
These a-holes, they're probably religious conspiracy theory nut jobs.
And unfortunately, some folks are trying to use this debate to score political points.
Oh.
But this shouldn't and can't be about politics. This is a matter of national security.
Here comes the punchline.
Terrorists like Al-Qaeda and ISIL aren't suddenly going to stop plotting against us at midnight tomorrow.
Oh. Guy is nuts. I think you probably have the clip that I'm going to play next, which is he had to sit down with country and Western singer Loretta Lynch, also known as our new head of Department of Justice, the Attorney General.
Well, actually, I went in a different direction, and I had decided to see what the public thinks about this.
Okay, why don't I play these, and then you play the public?
You got to play the public comment first.
Okay, which one
This is the woohoo comment.
Woohoo!
Yes, the beaches are back open! Woohoo! Yeah!
That's what the public thinks.
Well, I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to save that one. Very good. So he's sitting there, and this is a planned announcement. And they're sitting there like, we're having coffee here, sipping a little bit of tea, and then we let the journalists in for this little statement. And I have a follow-up to that where they're getting kicked out. Here's the president's. That was his podcast. It's kind of the longer version. Here's a short version.
The only thing that's standing in the way is a handful of senators who are resisting these reforms, despite law enforcement and the IC saying, let's go ahead and get this done. So we've only got a few days. These authorities expire on Sunday at midnight. And I don't want us to be in a situation in which, for a certain period of time, those authorities go away, and suddenly we're dark, and heaven forbid we've got a problem where we could have prevented a terrorist attack or apprehended someone who was engaged in dangerous activity, but we didn't do so simply because of inaction in the Senate.
We're all gonna die!
Heaven forbid! Well, he's almost calling for the perfect timing, John, for the 6-week cycle.
This is a 6-week cycle.
This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Just to show you how these press moments work, and I'm kind of surprised they left this in. Listen to the women who I guess they're in charge of the publicity department there at the White House. As right after he does this statement, the press has questions, and this was obviously a no ask question deal.
So let's go ahead and get it done. All right.
Do you have a reaction
Thank
to the
you.
indictment of Speaker Casper and Chief
Thank you very much.
So he's saying just thank you. I'm not answering.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
President's all in Illinois and what's going on.
Thank you. It's over. Thank you.
Wow. I didn't get that.
Isn't that cool?
That was great. That's clip of the day. You can take it.
Wow.
You have to play it again. You have to play it again. Okay. It's just too funny.
It reminds me, as I get ready to play it, it reminds me of the time I was invited to Prince's Paisley Park for a party when I was in Minneapolis. And when it was time to leave, the party was over, and you knew this. because dudes would be walking around just flashing flashlights on the ground, just kind of beep, 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 and like, thank you. Oh, okay, time to go. It's exactly the same. He's Prince is what he is.
So let's go ahead and get it done. All right?
Do you have a reaction?
Thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great to see you
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go write it up. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Don't ask so many questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
President calling Illinois and what's going on.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Clip of the day.
You kind of have to see it to appreciate the full effect.
Did they dim the lights and start playing some house music?
Almost. Thank you. Unbelievable. Yeah. And meanwhile, the United Nations report asserts encryption is a human right in the digital age. And that would mean encryption without the golden key.
I have a clip.
Okay, what you got?
This is our buddy Pillbeam.
Oh, good.
And this is the snooping agenda clip from RT.
Pillbeam. Just get the picture of her. Okay, I got it.
Emboldened by electoral success, the UK's ruling Conservative Party hopes to push through a tougher version of its previously rejected surveillance bill, branded by critics as the Snoopers Charter. Well, if passed this time round, the new legislation will require internet giants such as Google and Facebook to give the authorities unlimited access to encrypted conversations between users. Cameron wants to ban all means of private communication that's inaccessible to security agencies. The initiative comes amid a UN report held by privacy activists. In the landmark document, the body has unconditionally called encryption and anonymity a basic human right. However, British and US top officials don't quite share that opinion. David Cameron has been spearheading the Snoopers Charter, claiming that state security should have no information blind spots. Across the Atlantic, the FBI has also been accused of prying into civilians' lives on the web. Earlier, we spoke to Philip Zimmerman, who is the founder of a telecommunications security company. He says the crackdown on encryption is only part of a wider government snooping agenda.
This is, thank you very much for that. That's perfect lead into, of course, this legislation still has not been published. We only know, I've seen this headline everywhere. Oh, Facebook, and everyone will have to give your information. There was a minor outrage, fury, in the UK, in London. Parents are complaining about a survey that the London Council has been circulating amongst year 6 pupils. So I think that's, 12-year-olds? Year 6? I think it's 12-year-olds.
Don't know.
And the survey is part of, as I traced it back, part of a EU initiative to find out if pupils might be radicalizing, self-radicalizing, or being radicalized. It's 12, 13-year-olds. And as questions like, do you, here it is, it's the radicalization leading to terrorism program designed to, quote, identify the initial seeds of radicalization within children of primary school age, which is, wow. This is, I'd say, rather Orwellian. So they ask things about, does God have a purpose for you? And, would you ever, how do you, just things that you shouldn't be asking kids.
No.
So I look up this program, Radicalization Leading to Terrorism program, and as a part of the European, and we've looked at this before, part of the European radicalization, but also the, what is it? Not the acceptance, the tolerance policy. Then they have this huge, it's too much to go through. I mean, it's just huge what they're trying to do, but they do have a directive, which I pulled. And this is the European Union strategy for combating radicalization and recruitment. And it's very obvious what this is going to lead to. Terrorism is a threat to all states, all peoples, poses a serious threat to security of the European Union, lives of its citizens. The European Union remains determined to tackle this scourge. That's how you pronounce it? Scourge.
Scourge.
Scourge. It's a scourge. And so doing so requires a comprehensive response. We must reduce the threat by disrupting existing terrorist networks, by preventing new recruits to terrorism, better protecting potential targets, and improving our consequence management capabilities. Then they go into the challenge. Europe has experienced different types of terrorism. All of this is marked up in the show notes. You can look at it yourself. Addressing this challenge is beyond the power of the government alone, though. No, it will only be defeated with the engagement of the public, especially Muslims in Europe and beyond. Our response to counter radicalization, the EU resolves to disrupt the activities of networks and individuals who draw people into terrorism, ensure that voices of mainstream opinion prevail over those of extremism. That's a very dangerous one. Promote yet more vigorously security, justice, democracy, and opportunity for all.
What are you reading from?
This is the EU radicalization strategy document from the radicalization group within the European Union. This is the government, EU government paperwork. Disrupting the activities. This is where it kind of folds around. Disrupting the activities of the networks and individuals who draw people into terrorism. I don't know how true it is that all of these people are being radicalized, going over to Syria, fighting, coming back, and going to kill us. I don't think we really have any concrete, really good examples.
There's nothing. This is all bull crap.
But we need to spot such behavior by, for example, community policing and effective monitoring of the internet. Woo!
Oh, there you go.
That's it.
Long way.
We also need to disrupt such behavior. We'll limit the activities of those playing a role in radicalization, including in prisons, places of education or religious training and worship, and by examining the issues around admittance and residence of such individuals. So they're going to be stifling
Oh, this is just
free
more
speech.
fascist crap.
Yes.
I have to play a clip now.
Okay.
This is an example of this kind of thinking. I want you to listen carefully. This is your buddy, Lindsey Graham.
Why is it my buddy?
I just think he should be.
Okay.
Anyway, there's your buddy, Lindsey Graham, who is going to ask a couple of douchebags, including Kagan, who's up there. This is one of that hearing they had, Kagan, General Elliott, and
Is
some
Frederick
other guys.
or Robert?
Frederick.
Frederick, yeah.
He's the fat one, right?
No, that's Robert.
Oh, okay, this is Robert then.
Frederick is the one married to Newland.
Well, he's one of them. And he... Graham has got these guys, and Graham never really asks questions. He makes statements and then says, "Do you agree?"
I love that.
That's the way he asks questions.
Yes, and
then now, if you listen carefully to this one, he actually says, "Say no." He actually tells them to say.
Okay.
You listen carefully. Now, the thing that's really cool about it is he switches right in the middle of the whole thing. He switches from the main question, which is our policy going to succeed? Say no. And they all say no. And then he says, our policy is not going to succeed, right? Our policy is not going to succeed. Our policy is going to create a threat to the homeland. Somehow he switches it to threat to the homeland, and it's so slick. It's astonishing, but this is just part of the whole long one.
Senator Graham. Well, thank you. Here's my question. Does the current strategy in Iraq and Syria have any chance to succeed?
Well, Senator, that's really been the basis of our testimony. And
I didn't hear it, so just say no.
Well, we'll gladly say it again.
Go ahead, say it again.
And respect you asking the question, quite frankly. The answer is no.
Does everybody agree the answer is no? Does everybody agree that in the current configuration that the problems in Iraq and Syria present a direct threat to the homeland? Yes.
Yes.
I had a conversation with the CIA director yesterday who echoed that sentiment. So the average American needs to understand that failure in Iraq and Syria is putting the homeland at risk because so many foreign fighters are flowing in and they have the ability potentially to hit us here at home. Is that all correct?
Yes.
Amen. Fist bump.
That guy's a dick. He's not my friend.
He's not my friend.
There is some other cool stuff happening with...
The guy's an a-hole.
Yeah. Total jerk.
Anyway. Why does South Carolina keep reelecting him?
We even have, this was a good one, the TSA body scanner lobbyist from Rapiscan Systems. That would be Christopher Romig. So he was a registered lobbyist for Rapiscan. They're the ones that make the big body scanners.
They've been taken out of the airports.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why he now took a job with the House Appropriations Committee's Homeland Security Subcommittee, which oversees the TSA budget. I thought we weren't going to get that. I thought President Obama promised no revolving door.
Oh, it's all been revolving door since he got in.
Yeah. Here is Charlie Rose, CBS, about a new TSA initiative.
The Department of Homeland Security is making a new push this morning to find immigration violators at airports. Customs and border agents are doing a 3-month test of facial recognition technology. It is identifying travelers who come to the United States with someone else's passport.
This bright light greeting some of the 19,000 plus international travelers who pass through customs every day at Dulles Airport outside Washington, D.C. could be the future of airport security. It's part of new facial recognition technology being tested by U.S. Customs officers aiming to catch passport imposters. Customs and Border Protection Deputy Assistant Commissioner John Wagner.
We do see people trying to use a legitimate document, but it belonging to someone else to conceal their identity, and we are vulnerable to that.
And I have to say that, they're TSA. Then
can I ask you? I got questions. Mm-hmm. You bring all your clips are always initiate questions. I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
The modern passport, the modern USA passport, has a chip in it now.
Yes, RFID chip.
The chip has your picture on it. So you could take the passport and, put a phony picture on there, even though nowadays...
Do you know that for a fact?
It's not... Yes, I do.
Okay.
And it's not only that, but the picture on your passport is now printed as a picture as that page. Mm-hmm. It's not like a glued-on photo like it used to be.
With the rivet. Remember that? I had one with the rivets in it.
I don't remember the rivets.
Yeah, the photo had rivets.
There used to be a photo that was a real photo that was like somehow pushed onto the passport. Now it's actually printed as a page, much like one of those Kodak photo books.
Right.
It's got your picture built in. Mm-hmm. And then on the chip, there's your picture. So what is this even all about? What's the point?
Well,
unless somebody's hacked the passport to such an extreme, if you could do that, you change the name and everything. And so the facial recognition is not going to prove anything. You look like some other guy.
I'm pretty sure the lead-in...
This is a waste of money.
There you go.
Please.
CBS this morning was given rare access to this...
rare access, because it's a promotion.
...demonstration of the technology comparing a photo and a passport with the person presenting it. The computer compares the two and rates how likely they are to be a match. When I presented another person's passport, the computer caught it in seconds.
Wow, fantastic.
Alerting the officer to investigate further.
Now, remember what he said at the beginning is this is a small test, but part of a bigger program. And I have to say there was some balance, although, of course, they had a guy who was all in, man on the street thing. Some balance.
I got another question.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you have a passport which has got a picture on it of you?
Mm-hmm.
And so you present the passport, and then the computer looks at you and says, "Oh, no, that's not him."
Mm-hmm.
Better than a person can do?
I don't believe so. I do not think a computer has that type of intelligence yet. I don't think
better than. So I walked through with my passport, and I got the wrong passport, and I've got a Mexican's on the passport. A guy looks at this and says, "Okay, you're good to go." I go through, and the computer says, "Hey, wait a minute, this guy's not a Mexican." This is bull crap.
Yeah, I know it is. But that's not a question. That's a statement. What's your question?
Question is, who are they kidding?
Oh, everybody.
Pilot project at Dulles is part of a larger test of biometric technology. This fall, Customs will begin collecting face and iris scans of people entering and returning from Mexico on foot at a San Diego area border crossing.
That's how we'll know if you're a Mexican or not.
Harley Geiger is senior counsel at the Center for Democracy and Technology.
The real concern is not so much this particular pilot program. It is that this particular pilot program is a step towards a larger program, not just in ports of entry, but also in public places, mass transit systems in throughout the domestic United States.
I thought that was really good they put that in there. That was a surprise.
Mass transits? So
everywhere.
when I get on the Muni, I have to have my eyeball scanned?
It's already being done. New York has it everywhere.
Obama's made a big stink about this. So that's why trains are so much better than planes.
Makes travel a little more cumbersome, but if it's keeping us safe, then it's worthwhile.
Yeah. The images are saved in
those guys. We should track those people down.
Just listen to the response. The report's over. CBS. Funny.
It's worthwhile.
The images are saved in a secure database and will be held as long as this pilot program is going. And
what could possibly go wrong?
And Customs says those images will be deleted. Officials there say, you're already required to present your passport when you enter the country. This is a photo ID. All the technology is doing is verifying you are who you say you are.
Great message. Fantastic message. This already exists. It's already being done. It's just technology to verify. Let's hand it back to Gail.
Gail?
All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Sounds good. Dipshit. Sounds good. They had another man on the street response.
Yes, the beaches are back open. Woohoo! Yeah.
Of course, this technology will not work for the shape-shifting Jews.
Show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
We have a few people to thank for show 726.
Yep.
Including, and I do have a note here. I have to read it because it's a good note. It's a note I used a part of in the newsletter. This is Donald O'Malley. She was actually... money was sent in by Jennifer's wife and wanted him to get credit. She says, thank you for your courage. I appreciate the quality of your show production in addition to the humor and the analysis you both provide. My husband is turning 34 and she's got all this down there. He's a loyal listener, diligently hitting people out there in their mouth. And then she has in huge caps all the time. Our little girls sing along with all of the jingles like they are Taylor Swift songs. Boom Shakalaka and Dvorak.org/NA are their favorites.
This is a little known secret about our show.
The kids love the jingles.
If marketers need to take note.
Yeah, it's an old proven thesis. It's not that we're doing anything. We're doing nothing, including the newsletter and anything else, new. We're a proud No Agenda family. Listening gives my husband and I great topics for further analysis and discussions.
Taylor Swift. I can't get over the Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah, I know. That's the funny part.
We're just like Taylor Swift.
Yes.
Yeah, noodling.
So we have discussions amongst ourselves and with our friends. I don't want to lose the show ever. Here's my donation. I would like it if you could record this donation on behalf of the birthday boy, Don O'Malley. He's an excellent husband and father. We are 3 lucky girls. Would you please say hi to our daughter, Charlotte O'Malley? Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte.
Age 8. And Delilah O'Malley.
Hi, Delilah.
Hi, Delilah. Age 6. They will flip out.
Bingo, boom, boom, chakalaka, boom, 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 chakalaka, boom, boom.
Anyway, she'd hoping this note would come in earlier, but it didn't. It came in on Saturday.
Okay.
So I want to thank her and Donald. And he's on the list. Sir Greg Worley in Evington, Virginia, 13333. Loves the show, longtime listener, a DSC fan. John Sims in Spring, Texas, 13131. James Murray in Houston, Texas. Wet down there. Sam Lung in Toronto, Ontario, 12345. Sir Richard Moffat in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 12345. Joshua Papp, and we had a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very
people like the number.
Coincidences. Joshua Papp in Reservoir, Victoria, Australia, $111.11. Dame Astrid, Duchess of Japan.
Hey, good to hear from the Dame.
Seems to be a lot of destruction going on in Japan right now. She says volcanoes blowing off, making sure the earthquake machine is still working. Something is afoot. But thanks to you, I am prepared.
Oh, much love to you.
Much love.
Dame Astrid. Be careful out there.
Angela Castaneda in Henderson, Nevada, $100. And we got a birthday call out for her.
Yes, we do.
For her son. Bitstorm Communications, Hammersley, Washington, $100. Ed Siemens in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, $100. Crocutta Computer Services in Pacifica, California, right down the street from me, $100. Lon Baker, $100, parts unknown. Sir Jason Southwell in Pompano Beach, Florida, $100. And $99 from Michael Reardon in San Diego, California. Alan Fleetwood comes in with $80. Paul Laster from Bulverde, Texas, comes in with $73.
Oh, I didn't even
right down the street from me.
I didn't even see the 73 come in.
Yep. Anyway. Sir Stephen Bow in Clear Lake.
Could be Stephen.
Could be. In Wisconsin. Oh, it probably is Steve because he calls himself Sir Steve of Western Wisconsin.
He also hands out a 73 shout out to us.
Yep. K0SRB. Sir Victor Gregg in Decatur, Georgia, 69, as well as Nathaniel Starlin in Bucyrus, Ohio, I think. No, he's got it down.
Bucyrus.
Or Bucyrus. I don't know.
Bucyrus.
Put the next neighboring town down next time. Vavilo in Eindhoven, Netherlands, 69. He says, hearing John trying to pronounce Dutch is priceless. Yeah. Mock me. Noel Vincente in Morristown, New Jersey, 66. Peter Colvin in Ballymena, UK, somewhere in Antrim area.
He says he sent a note to me. I'll look it up. Peter Colvin, I'll look it up.
Natasha Ulrich in Point Pleasant Beach, New Jersey, 5678. No depressing dud show, please, she writes. Tom, I guess that was my threat.
Hold on. So Peter Colvin has a birthday shot. I think that's what we missed.
Oh, you better put him on the list.
Yeah. Somehow I missed that. Sorry, man. Got it.
Tom Miller in Naperville, Illinois, 55. Ryan Albiton in Winterville, North Carolina, 5510. Sir Andrabal in St. Louis, Missouri, 5510. Tim Schallberger in Bend, Oregon. He is Sir Andrabal, actually. As I said, what am I talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Let's back up. Sir Andrabal's in St. Louis, Missouri, 5510, double nickels on a dime. Tim Schallberger is in Bend, Oregon. Davin Desborough is in Amherst, New York. These are all 5510s. There's a slew of them. Robert Stokes in Midlothian, Texas, 5510s. Samuel Sloan in LaBelle, Pennsylvania. David Galloway, Flower Mound, Texas. One of the few places I've actually been to. In the middle of nowhere, that is. Michael Siegenthaler in Phoenix, Arizona, 5510. These are all 5510s. And Daniel Osterlund in White Bear Township, Minnesota, 5510. And we go $55 from Christopher Gray in Covington, Louisiana. Wen Miller in Medford Lakes, New Jersey, with 5432. We'll get you karma at the end. Take the karma for what it's worth. Eric Hokel in Berlin, Deutschland, 52. Raleigh Rikama in Helsinki, Finland. He says, thank you for your entertainment. We're here waiting for the Russians.
They should be there any moment by sea.
Paul Kerschel in Medford, Oregon, 5150. What does he say there? Something. Take a look. Nick Johannes in Prior Lake, Minnesota, $51. Sir Kevin Payne in Chantilly, Virginia, $50.69. Sir Inside Jobs, Black Knight, $50.33 out of Seattle, Washington. The following are $50 donors. Adrian Vernoy.
From Meppel.
I knew that.
From Meppel.
That's in Holland.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Morton in Miamisburg, Ohio. Brandon Stewart in Dallas, Texas. Nicholas Ragucci in Hanover Park, Illinois. Richard Hewitt in Lenexa, Kansas. He says, okay, I don't know what he says.
I've been avoiding donating because climate change is basic physics and a simple energy balance, but with Greenpeace reporting Chinese emissions plummeting and #1 oil producer, and then it cuts off. Well, that's disappointing. Send it again, man. I want to know what you're saying.
I don't know what he's saying. That's why I didn't read it.
PayPal.
Todd LG in Katy, Texas, 50. Raleigh Hawk in Anna, Illinois. Jefferson C. Post in Eastham, Massachusetts. Richard Fox in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Which I believe is down the street from you.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Dodd.
It's just up the creek, actually, as we say now.
up the S Creek. Granton, Ontario, Canada is Mike Dodds. Gary Wiley in Sequim, Washington, 50, which is right down the street from my other place. Alejandro Vasquez in Denver, California, Colorado. Rob Van Dyke in Herpin. Herpin. Dustin Martin in Salem, Oregon. We got a lot of 50s today, which is nice. Bob Wassenaar in Utrecht. Utrecht.
Close.
He's in Utrecht.
I want to teach you a new Dutch word when you're done.
Okay. Sir Mark Tanner in Whittier, California comes in constantly. He's a great guy. Sir Bogdan Leandro. Roanoke, Texas, which I always find strange. Sir Alan Bean, who's being upgraded. I have a note from him. And Sir Paul from Horseheads, both of them at $50. We have two little notes. I think one of them was interesting. Let me see.
Hey, good list. Thank you, everybody. That's a good list today. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you a lot. For lesser ones, too, we got a lot of good notes in the other ones, too. I want to congratulate you both on your informative, entertaining programs. This is from Sir Bean in Oakland. Your theories and analysis are very good. I'm going to read this. But I enjoy also your predictions. For example, predicting Pope Francis on February of 2013, among a number of others.
By name.
Yes, by name. And then Sir Horsehead, he has a really small written note, which I can barely read. Oh, he says, yeah, this is good. He says he was watching some television, and he heard somebody with vocal fry and up talking, and he says, thanks to the neuro-linguistic programming that we provide, he was forced to donate.
Yeah. Well, it worked.
Yeah, whatever works.
Whenever you vocal fry, donate. Fry, donate.
And that concludes our great list of today's contributors and producers and executive producers and everybody in between.
It lifted my spirits. I have a stride in my step and a song in my heart, John.
Yeah, and a bunch of pills in your gut.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs. Youth jobs. Oh, no.
Yeah, always got to hand out the jobs, Carmen, everybody. Thank you very much, and we will be doing another show on Thursday, obviously. Please go to
Dvorak.org/NA.
Today, Angela Castaneda says happy birthday to her son, Jose Gonzalez. Donald O'Malley turned 34 on the 26th. Jean-Claude Schmidt says happy birthday to Sir Andre Schmidt, Knight of Lake Geneva, also celebrated on the 28th. James Ogilvy says happy birthday to his daughter, Rowan, turned 18 on the 29th. Sir J.D., Baron of Silicon Valley, celebrating today. And Peter Colvin, also celebrating today. He turns 28. Happy birthday from all your friends and buddies and family and relatives at the best podcast in the universe. Then we have two upgrades. We have Sir John Harrison becoming baronet today, and Sir Alan Bean also becoming baronet. And we have two knightings. And I do want to, again, thank everyone who came in under the $50 cutoff for mentioning on the show. A lot of people upgrading from 5 a month to 11 to 12 to some to 33. It's really appreciated. So your truthful note helped, John. It's always good. Thomas Villa. If you could step up here, please. And oh, careful. John, you almost hit him. Yeah. Also,
I was reaching for the sword, and he comes by, he bumps me.
I got to be careful. Corwin Underwood, both of you, please, come on up to the podium. I would like to welcome you to the No Agenda Roundtable, the Knights and the Dames, for your contribution to the amount of $1,000 or more to the best podcast in the universe. And I hereby pronounce the Sir Up Arrow and Sir Corwin, both of you Knights of the No Agenda Roundtable. Gentlemen, for you, I have Hookers and Blow, Red Boys and Chardonnay, Raspberry Pies and Breakfast Burritos, Pork Ribs and Pale Ale, Drams and DMT, Sake and Sushi, Dos Equis and Dutch Dominatrix, Cannabis and Cabernet, Wenches and Beer, Vodka and Vanilla, Sparkling Cider and Escorts, and Mutton and Mead. Go to noagendanation.com/rings, and Eric the Shill will get them out to you as soon as possible. Thank you again. Thank you. Highly appreciated. I have a number of ways and places we can go, but I'm curious to see what you got. Oh, this, interesting, we didn't talk about it on Thursday. The IRS claims that one of their databases was hacked. Of course, it originated in Russia. Of course. Of course. The Criminal Investigation Unit, and confirmed by a DHS official. I've actually used this system that was hacked. This is the one if you're renting an apartment like I am, where you have to prove that you've paid your taxes. What is it called? It has a certain name.
You start proving you paid your taxes.
Yeah, but yes.
What if you're behind a little bit in your taxes, like maybe a year?
Well, it's just you have to be current. You have to be current. It's what is that thing called? I can't find it now.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that is the news. What is not the news is the IRS admitting after a report by their Inspector General that they have been refunding $2.3 billion in our taxpayer money to fake U.S. taxpayers who all have bank accounts, foreign bank accounts. These are fraudulent returns, and it's $2.3 billion.
It's outrageous.
Yeah, but that's not in the news. No, hack, Russians, Putin. So I'm thinking the whole hack thing may be bullshit. It's not a very important database that was hacked. So I'm just not going to buy it. It seems to me if you want to obfuscate some shitty-ass report about your performance, just giving away money, maybe you'd want to come up with something.
You got to track that $2 billion down.
No.
You know how you talked about, you run into Al Roker.
Yeah, I've worked with him, yes. And he's a dick, self-centered dick.
Well, you say that all the time. But
yes, I do.
I wonder, I know one of the things we talk about on the show is how people always have to kind of tell the truth at some point.
It always slips out. You can't stop it.
Slips out, or sometimes it's overt and made to sound like a lie. I mean, there's other ways of doing it. Yeah, somebody comes out and they says something. Yeah. Oh, I set the place on fire. I set the place on fire when they did.
Mm-hmm.
So let's play.
Oh, you mean making a joke? Oh, yeah, of course I did that when they did.
Yeah. Okay, so let's play, and you tell me what you think of this. I just thought it was kind of reminding me of you for some reason. This is Jeremy Piven on the Today Show talking to, I guess.
Now, Jeremy Piven is from the Entourage. He's promoting the Entourage movie.
And who's the main guy that interviews there?
Matt?
Yeah, Lauer.
Mm-hmm.
Lauer's in the movie, and apparently is in a spot in the movie that they can't remove him. And so they're talking about this a little bit, and then Roker comes up because I guess he was in the movie and got cut out.
Okay, and again, my experience with Al Roker is he's self-centered. He likes to steal punchlines. He likes to stand in front of you. That's my experience with him.
This is your world, but you were so great and so professional, and what you do lends credibility to our world because it's about the backstage life of Hollywood. So it does help us. And yes, we can't. Yes, there's no way you will ever be cut out of this movie.
No, that's true. However, you did cut Al Roker out of the movie,
and that was my own personal decision. I'll be honest with you. This is true. I've never liked Al. As you can see, he's on a boat with cartoon characters. No one likes Al. He gets the worst jobs ever.
If there is a sequel to this movie, you better put him. There he is, right there.
Al. They're going to make
you
Al clean.
You are dead to me, Piven. Dead to me.
Something bad's going to happen.
You know what?
He means it.
He said at the beginning, as the preface, this is true.
Yeah, he means it. This is how Al Roker operates. I don't think just because he lost all that weight, I don't think that he became a nice guy. I just don't. It's just his personality. You can kind of feel it. It doesn't matter.
I just thought it was amusing that somebody would come on the show and just do that. Anyway, I watched it.
Hold on.
The only good phone's a landline, and the phone should be made out of Bakelite.
Phones, hail Apple. It's time for your tech news, everybody. It's Sunday. That's when John and
I got a little piece of tech news.
Bring you the tech news. Why don't you kick it off?
This is not really tech news.
Kick it off with some tech news.
This is the category of pronunciation that happens to do with a technology-oriented university. Now, I'm always told by the experts and people that have been there that you pronounce what everybody pronounces Carnegie, like the Carnegie Library.
I thought it was Carnegie.
Yes, that's what you would think. Yeah. That's what everybody says. They always say, if you say Carnegie, which I said when I was a kid, they correct you to say Carnegie.
Yeah, in New York they do.
Yeah, that's what they always do. Now, so I'm listening. I just thought about this. I'm watching the NewsHour, and they're rapping through all their sponsors, advertisers, and Carnegie's one of them. And the guy's a professional announcer, and they've been saying this. I never noticed it before, but they've been saying this for years. They're pronouncing it a certain way that if it was being mispronounced, they'd be called out on it because there's a lot of money involved. And this is the public channel. Now, listen to the way it's pronounced.
Major funding for the PBS NewsHour has been provided by BNSF Railway. Lincoln Financial, committed to helping you take charge of your life and become your own chief life officer. Carnegie Corporation of New York, supporting innovations in education, democratic engagement, and the advancement of international peace and security at carnegie.org.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it.
I'm glad we've cleared that up.
Well, it's been bugging me.
Clearly. I really only have one piece of tech news, but it was so apparent to me. You recall all of the tech horny people who do these tech shows.
Tech horny.
They were talking about the Verizon acquisition of America Online as, well, it's very obvious they're buying it for the mobile ad platform. And my analysis was, no, there's 2 million dial-up customers, and they're going to go after subsidy from the government. Well, bingo, boom, shakalaka, wouldn't you know it? The New York Times, FCC chief seeks broadband plan to aid the poor, and specifically a study to be done for Verizon to see if I think it's $9 and something a month they're talking about for some version of broadband that would be rolled out to those who do not have it. And it's kind of like they're taking it kind of from the Obama phone department and creating broadband. But I think this was... And it's the FCC. The FCC, they got all kinds of connections. To me, it seems like right on schedule. Although the acquisition is not done, as far as I know. Boom, we've got our 2 million people. They're going to be subsidized. We're going right after the government money for it. So they were just rolling.
Pay for the acquisition over time.
Easily. Well, think about it. 2 million.
That's pretty slick.
2 million times 10 a month. Right?
Yeah, it's 20 million.
Times 12 months.
What did they pay for AOL?
Well, they're talking about $4 billion.
Oh.
But if you look at a 10, that's just the proposed number. But if you look at a 10, just a value 10x per person, because it's not just 1 year, you'll have them over a lifetime. It makes so much sense. But I think with the news you're going to hear by the techernies is, it's Obama phone, and we're all paying. We have to pay broadband subsidy, whatever. That's kind of the way it goes.
Your voice.
Mm-hmm. And I want to make a small prediction's not really it. I think Microsoft is going to come back in a big way. I like what I'm seeing from them. They're really going cross-platform. Cortana is now coming to Google and Apple. That's their version of Siri and Hey Google. I think.
How do you trigger it? I know you go, okay, Google.
Hey, Siri.
Hey, Siri, and what's the other one, the Echo device?
I'm not going to say her name. Hey,
Kimster.
Yeah, it's Alexa.
Apparently,
Siri still works very well when you say Syria. Hey, Syria. Hey, Cortana.
So Buzzkill Jr. got one of those things.
What? An Echo?
Yeah, he says the greatest thing about it, as far as he likes it too.
Mm-hmm.
He says the greatest thing about it is you put it in the kitchen, He said, and he also noted that you could, from anywhere in the house, it will hear you.
How many? I've told you this, and I'll tell you what he likes. You say the name and set a timer for 3 minutes, and she says, and you can say how much left on the timer. She tells you how much is left.
Yeah, he says, and I was when he told me that because you never mentioned the timer.
I may have forgotten.
Well, that could be useful, but it's like $100. Well, how much that thing cost? $100?
If you're a Prime member.
It's $100 for a very expensive timer.
It does other things. They just integrated Google Calendar, so you can just ask her what's on my calendar for today or this week.
Can you put entries into the calendar?
Not yet.
Oh, then that's no good.
But the reordering thing I'm using a lot.
What's that?
I played you the whole
reordering. Oh, please get me some more pills.
Okay.
I'm going to...
I took one Sudafed. And now everyone's thinking I got an award.
Got an award?
I got an award. I did. I'll tell you what.
For what?
Well, I'll look for you. People were very excited about this award that I received. I saw it on Twitter. Let me find it for you. Because I mentioned one thing. I tell one story about Danny the drug dealer. Immediately, I'm getting awards from the cannabis.
Cannabis Society.
I have the bowl after bowl successful stoner Saturday pick is Adam Curry of the No Agenda Show, successful throughout his life despite being a stoner. It's not fair. There you go. So please don't.
You've been clean and sober for as long as I've known you.
But even when
that's not true.
Well, no, that's
but
certainly
as long
not
as
true.
I've known the new you.
Yeah,
I'm
still clean and sober.
You're popping pills, you're smoking dope.
Hey, man, it's what divorce does to you, baby. It's all over. I don't know how to handle it. Oh man, I have one more. This is a McLaughlin group.
Oh God!
Just at the end,
it's so hard to watch. McLaughlin looks like he's going to drop dead on the set.
Well, we know this thing is highly scripted.
Yes,
this show is extremely.
Right. Years ago, we should mention this again.
Yeah, please.
Years ago, we had one of the producers of the show from early on send us a rundown on the whole show and how it operates. I don't know if he still listens or not, but he says the thing is so highly produced and it's very scripted, and so they go from person to person. They practice their lines and the whole thing,
which makes sense when that Eleanor Cliff clip that you played. Where what was it again? She had it was really good. She was right on with us for once.
Yes.
I don't remember what it was now. So I got to think that at the end when they do those predictions.
It's about the airline hacker.
Oh, yes. Right. She said this. Yeah, exactly. Not from this guy. She said, oh, good.
Yeah.
So they have these predictions at the end. And, it's usually something stupid like who's going to win the Triple Crown, stuff like this. And McLaughlin has this throwaway as his prediction.
The violent crime rate in America's metropolitan areas will spike this summer. Bye-bye.
What does he know that we don't know?
Where does that come from?
I don't know. It was not discussed on the show. He just throws this out there.
The violent crime rate is going to spike this summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, really? Well, what does he know that we don't know?
I have no idea where he got this from. No idea. Our buddy Mikhail Saakashvili, remember him? He was president. Was he president of Georgia?
Yeah, I have a clip.
Oh, he was the crazy guy who was eating his tie, and he's married to a Dutch girl.
Is that the guy? Yeah, that was the guy who was head of Georgia. Here's the clip. Here it is. It starts with a D, but it's supposed to say Georgia Stooge.
Yeah.
Ukraine's president has appointed the former leader of the Republic of Georgia, Mikhail Saakashvili, as the governor of the southern Odessa region.
And they made him Ukrainian.
Yep. But he's wanted in Georgia.
He's wanted.
He's wanted for embezzlement and a couple other things. They literally want him to go to jail.
He's one of our boys.
Well, yeah. Of course he is. And now he's running Ukraine's Odessa region.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Because he was clearly in with the State Department. And he instilled, George Bush International Airport in Georgia. The guy's
Is that him? I know somebody did.
I think it was him. Yeah. But Come on. There's a couple more F Russia things we have to be looking at. Now we're starting up with the... first of all, there's a blacklist, a travel blacklist for European Union members, including Nick Clegg and a couple other...
But Clegg can't travel?
They can't go to Russia. They've got a list.
Oh, Russia. Oh, yeah, Russia does this. They kept...
we have a list. Remember our list? What's that thing called?
Terrorism.
No. We have
watch list.
It has a different name.
Oh.
But I'm not able to tap into your history today for some reason.
I have no idea.
No. Anyway.
But yeah, these are blacklists.
And
Russia does this all the time.
Yeah,
of course they do.
Everybody's up in arms. They will.
Oh, they're all up in arms. Oh,
yeah.
Nick Clegg. What's he want to do in Russia?
I don't know. And Russia now backing the SWIFT alternative, which I think has 100 countries connected to it. So for international finance, bank transfers. And I don't see much more. But of course, the Turkish stream is going to start in the next few weeks.
Well, before you get off of Britain, let's at least play one more British clip.
Okay.
Which I think is a good one because there's humor involved.
Yeah, always with the Brits, one way or the other.
And this is the British nuke sub scandal.
This week, a British Royal Navy engineer blew the whistle on the UK's Trident nuclear weapons system. A disaster is waiting to happen. That's how William McNeely described the nuclear-powered submarines. McNeely's allegations include lax security, with guards failing to check passes and bags. The whistleblower highlighted the risk of someone bringing a bomb on board and committing a large-scale terrorist attack. He also claimed that most of the equipment on the submarine doesn't work properly and people can easily access all areas. The nuclear missile compartment has reportedly been transformed into a gym with weights being used around firing units. The engineer handed himself into police after making his concerns public, but he says he has no regrets and that it was his wish to serve the public that made him speak out.
Prison would be such a nice reward for sacrificing everything to warn the public and government.
The Royal Navy denies the allegations of security flaws, saying its submarine fleet is operated under the most stringent safety regime. And according to them, British nukes are safe and they've been checked by senior figures too. The fate of the man who blew the whistle, though, is still unclear, but the experience of others who tried to walk a similar path in the UK suggests he won't get off lightly.
Yeah, no, let's throw the book at him.
Well, they're doing a number of things. They've got their legislation on the way, and they also, let me see, the reporting in the UK, North Korea, thousands of their hackers could destroy cities.
Oh?
Yep.
How are they going to do that?
By hacking.
How do you destroy a city by hacking?
I shall read from Professor Kim Hwang-kwan, who defected from the regime, said the country's military hacking unit could pose a feasible threat to a city. And the reason North Korea has been harassing other countries is to demonstrate that they have the cyber war capacity. Their cyber attacks could have similar impacts as military attacks, killing people and destroying cities, the professor says.
This is bullcrap.
Yes, but
most kids who are hackers, they're like good musicians. They start when they're very young, and they get enthralled with computers, and then they get pretty good at understanding how they operate, and then they can kind of hack their way through systems and do whatever they do. How do you do that in North Korea when you can't, until you get to college, you can't even use a computer? How does that work?
This is only meant to shepherd in the cybersecurity legislation. No, it doesn't work at all. Of course,
it's a scam. It's bullcrap. And by the way, I want to recommend a new show.
A podcast?
No, a TV show.
Oh, TV show. Mm-hmm.
As most of us know, that the Persons of Interest is going to be phased out. And so that show's going to be done.
Sorry, I didn't get the
You never watched anything.
No, of course I don't.
But this show is really good. It's about a psychopathic kind of a crazy hacker, and the show is called Mr. Robot. And it's available. You can go watch it online. It's going to be USA Networks. It's going to be released later in June. But it's quite entertaining.
Do you have a clip?
No, I have no clip. It's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll get a clip for the next show.
Be on the lookout for Volatile Cedar. Volatile Cedar.
Is that a hacker?
No, it's a PR term from Checkpoint Security.
And they say, oh, we've uncovered a very successful long-running cyber surveillance campaign called Volatile Cedar. And if you look exactly. If you look for it, there must be 100 links from websites you've never heard who are either automatically republishing or just republish. Nothing really. I didn't find anything from Kaspersky or any of those guys. It's just they got a good name, so it is clearly. Every article ends up with the phone number to call your security expert at Checkpoint. But let's just keep an eye on it. We'll see if it gets any legs. Probably not. And there's
did we ever close out tech news?
Yeah, we can.
Well, unless you're still going to talk about tech.
I'm done.
Watch it, turn it, leave it, stop on that. iPhone, schmyphone.
All right. The things we will not talk about today is John F. Kerry's bicycle fall. I had Sanjay Gupta on this morning explaining the type of fracture and how dangerous. Please, news.
But he broke something? I didn't know that.
He broke his femur or something. We don't know.
And it's because he lost his balance, and the balancing mechanism was just in the inner ear.
And well, that head, is top heavy. Big Pharma getting in on more drugs. Of course, MDMA was initially developed, or not initially developed for, but eventually became a drug for psychosis analysis. Psychiatrists use it. It wasn't illegal for a long time.
E,
yes. MDMA, the basis of E, and Molly and all this other stuff.
Molly.
And now Big Pharma is saying, we might be able to use ecstasy to alleviate anxiety for terminally ill patients. Think about it. It's good. You'll go out totally wasted and in love.
Wasted and in love.
The patent for MDMA is held by Merck. They have 2 patents. I'm pretty sure that everyone knows that this MDMA, Molly, XE, all this stuff is big business, and they want to get in on it.
Yeah. People should not take these drugs.
This is not a good drug. Have you ever taken ecstasy?
Serotonin uptake inhibitor. It causes all kinds of long-term problems.
Have you ever taken ecstasy?
No, I have not, actually, and I can say I haven't. I'm dead honest about it. I know about the drug, and I knew what its mechanisms were, and I'm not taking that sort of drug. It's not good for you.
No, I haven't either.
It's long-term. Everyone I know that's taken a lot of it, they have this dopey look on their face for the rest of their lives. They do.
Really?
Yeah.
A dopey look.
Yeah.
Hey.
It does something to you.
I like it.
No, it's not going to happen.
It's great. No. But they're getting in on the action. And I think that's kind of all I got, John. I mean, there's more things that I'm working on. But I think we're good. I want
to play this clip just with a commentary. The Mideast bombings clip where they also bombed Saudi Arabia.
In Iraq today, the Islamic State claimed responsibility for car bombs targeting 2 prominent hotels in Baghdad. The blast lit up the night sky last night, killing at least 15 people and wounding scores more. Hours later, daylight revealed how badly the newly renovated hotels had been hit. Windows were shattered and wreckage was everywhere. A 3rd bomb was defused early this morning. Islamic State militants also targeted a mosque in Saudi Arabia today, killing at least 4 people. The explosion erupted outside a Shiite mosque in an eastern port city. The suicide bomber, who was disguised as a woman, detonated his explosives as worshippers gathered for Friday prayers. A week ago, a similar attack killed 21 people.
Okay.
So we have, again, there's a long-term strategy of rebelization. So one of the things you want to do, if you're a government front operation like ISIS, you stir up crap between the Shiites and the Sunnis in Saudi Arabia. The Saudis know this is going on. They're getting mad because they realize that there's something, this is being done on purpose, and they're going to start arming, and they realize that the finger's been pointed at them. You're next.
And someone wrote a note to us. Could there be a connection between Iran, the Saudis, and the 28 pages of the 9/11 Commission report?
Maybe. Might be something in there.
No, I think there's something there too, possibly.
28 pages is a lot when they, if you look at single spaced.
Oh, yeah. So with that, be on the lookout for the 6-week cycle. Should be it's right around today and tomorrow, June 1st.
Many a times we've done the show and then something big happens right after the show. So
they always do that. Why give us the scoop? No, they hate
Thursday.
us. They hate us. They're haters, John. They're just haters.
Haters.
But be on the lookout for that. It goes right in line with the president's own words that Al-Qaeda and ISIS and ISIL, they don't just stop terror at midnight. That's when they start. All them lone wolves. Also, the wrong Biden kid died. That sucks. Why couldn't it have been?
I agree with that.
Yeah, why couldn't it have been the drug addict who's shilling in Ukraine for the oil companies? I don't want anyone dead, but crap.
No, we don't want anyone dead.
We don't like brain cancer. We don't like any cancer.
Yeah, that was kind of a loss.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, he seemed like a pretty good guy.
All right, everybody. Enjoy LGBT Pride Month, and I am Adam Curry, or I'm coming to you from FEMA Region 6 in the Crackpot Condo, downtown Austin, Texas in the morning. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I've uncovered the scam of inflation. I'm John C. Dvorak.
And boy, has my wine gotten expensive. We'll be here on Thursday. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. Adios, mofos.
We need to kill them. We need to kill them. Bomb them. Bomb them. Bomb them. And bomb them again, eh? We need to kill them. We need to kill them. Bomb them. Bomb them. And bomb them again, eh? And bomb them again, eh? Bomb them. Bomb them. And bomb them again, eh? And bomb them again, eh? Bomb them. Bomb them. Bomb them. And kill them. Bomb them. Bomb them. Bomb them. And kill them. Bomb them again. Bomb them again. We need to kill them. Bomb them again. Bomb them again. We need to kill them. And bomb them again.
The science is in.
Science! Yes, the beaches are back open! Woohoo! Yeah!
The violent crime rate in America's metropolitan areas will spike this summer. Bye-bye.
Adios, mofo.
The best podcast in the universe.
Amen. Fist bump.
Dvorak.org/NA.